All right, it is 9:30. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. My name is Arlisha Wilson. I'll be the chair of today's meeting. And we're going to get started today on Monday, August 4th with the reading of the preamble. Madam Secretary.
Good morning. My name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, this Monday, August 4th. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We've provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We've also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Can we call the roll?
Sure. Ms. Holzer?
Present.
Ms. Faith? Mr. Madison? You see Mr. Madison in there yet? Said he would be remote.
Madam Secretary, I am present.
Thank you. And I'm not hearing Mr. Madison yet. Ms. Roca?
Present.
And Ms. Wilson?
Present.
Madam Chair, we were informed by Mr. Madison that he would be logging in remotely. I don't know if we want to give him a couple more minutes, but if not, if you'd like to go forward, I should state to the appellants that at this time we have 4 board members present, and with that case, there he is.
Just kidding.
Thank you. Mr. Madison has joined us. We have 5 members now at the table and online. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, perfect. Do we have any postponements or withdrawals this morning?
We do. We have one for calendar number 25-121. And that is regarding 1303 West 6th Street. It's a violation notice, GA 100 LLC, appealing a violation notice regarding a smoke shop. The appellant is requesting a postponement at this time. They are working to get in touch with the owner and wanted more time to prepare. We can give them, they asked for 30 days. And what does that give us? So that would put us into September. And September 15th or the 22nd is open at this time. The 8th is very full.
Okay, let's do the 22nd.
22nd. Okay. Thank you. Calendar number 25-121 is therefore postponed to September 22nd. Public mailed notice will be sent out again, as well as online notification.
Okay.
Therefore, no testimony will be taken. And that concludes our postponements and withdrawals.
All right, thank you for that, Madam Secretary. We're gonna now call the first case, which I am gonna call calendar number 25-127. This is at 10309 Lorraine Avenue. So if you're here for this case, please come forward. Do we have an appellant present from AQAR LLC? Do we have an appellant present online from AQAR?
Maybe it's running a little late.
Might also be under Smokers Kingdom.
Okay,
Smokers Kingdom.
all right. Well, I tried to get you out of here. We're gonna recall it just shortly. Maybe they're running a little bit behind. Okay, awesome. And then, Councilman, what case are you here for?
All three of them were 11.
Okay, all right, so we'll recall that case. So I've got you down for calendar number 25-122. This is at 11716 Dale Avenue. Is anyone here? Kenneth Grabar? Grabar, is that you? Okay, please come forward. And while you do that, I'll have Nina Holzer read in the case.
Our first case is calendar number 25-122. This is at 11716 Dale Avenue, parenthetically also known as 11516 Dale Avenue. Kenneth Grabaugh, owner, proposes to erect a one-story frame single-family residence with 2 concrete parking spaces in an A1 one-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And Madam Chair, who would you like to have do the oath today?
You okay with doing that one? We'll have Mr. Madison do the oath today.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Madden.
Thank you. All those who are present, please raise your hand. I will swear you in to be a part of this session. Please raise your hand, reply to if I do, and state your name and state your address. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give today is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please,
I do.
and state your name and address.
Kenneth Grubaugh, 11520 Dale Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present for this case?
What was your last name?
Grubaugh, Grubaugh.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Please come forward to the table.
Yes, this is Greg with Paps Construction.
Yeah, so Greg, and if you would like to hit the green button on your mic there as well. Just please raise your hand and reply if I do, and state your name and address for the record. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? We'll start with you, then we'll go online.
I do. Betty Busey, 11512 Dale.
Thank you. And
1 second, can you spell your name for us?
Bucey.
please. All right.
That's your first or last name?
Last.
Okay, and spell your first name. for us.
Betty.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, we'll move online. And the gentleman, Greg.
My name is Greg Haddocks with Paps Construction Services.
And please reply if I do, and state the address for the record.
11516 Dale Avenue.
And I do.
I do.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present for this case? Madam Chair, I turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Madison. We'll go to history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1929, a permit was issued to erect a two-story duplex. There was one variance on file in calendar 516 in 1968. This board denied a variance to change the use to a three-family from a two-family. And then we see in more recent history, Madam Chair, in 2012, a permit was issued to demolish a structure on the site. Thank you.
Okay, and you said the variance was denied for what request?
Change use to three-family from two-family.
Got it. Okay, thank you for that. Can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, I don't believe I see Mary formally online.
I don't see it either. Do we have anyone from the law department on behalf of Mary Cornelli here? I'm not hearing anyone, so,
I can read that for you now.
okay, go right ahead.
Madam Chair, members of the board, the appellant is requesting an area variances from the interior side yard, minimum distance between buildings and front yard setback requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellants must prove that denying the crest will, 1, create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, 2, deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and 3, granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. Note, the board is limited in its authority to grant a front yard setback under section 329.04C. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. All right, I'm now going to turn to you. Can you just state your name and tell us about your project?
Hi, my name is Kenneth Grubaugh. I'm trying to build a house for my 86-year-old mother so that she could live out her days. I know there was a house there at one time prior to me moving in there and obtaining the lot. I figured it'd be a good fit. Instead of sending her to a home, she'd be right there close to me and be able to keep an eye on her. And like I said, she's 86 years old, so.
Okay, and is Greg Haddix here with you as well?
He is. He's the contractor.
Okay, perfect. Does that conclude your comments?
Yes.
Okay, all right, Mr. Greg, I'll give you an opportunity to speak as well. Please tell us about the project.
Okay, when I originally met Ken and his mother, they had looked at like modular homes and had given me some plans similar to what they had found. We felt that it would add more value to put a conventional style built home on the lot. So I had my architect draw up some plans that we felt would fit on the property that would give or accommodate his mother on a first floor living access, would be handicapped accessible, not that she's in that position right now, but could be someday in the future. All first floor living. We kept it under the square footage that was required per the lot size. Obviously, some of the zoning has changed based on the lot width compared to what it was when it was originally built. I can't remember what the date they said was originally a house was built there. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at here.
All right, any questions from the board based on what we've heard so far? All right, if there are no questions, I will turn to you to give comment. Betty Busey?
I've never seen the plans, which is number one. So I had no idea what his plans were, where his house was going, where his driveway was going. I had no idea where any of that was going. So I was just lost. I thought he was gonna put the house closer to me so that I would have a neighbor within handshake reach of my window. But he's putting it on the other side towards him, which is fine. I don't care about the driveway. As a matter of fact, that'll help me because I've been spending 3 years putting in a French drain because my property gets flooded from that lot. And so I had to hire a building engineer to try and solve the problem because the city wouldn't help me. And so I've been digging in a French drain that goes all the way from my back fence all the way to my front fence or to the front yard. So I just got it dug, totally ready. I got all the rocks delivered. And now it looks like I don't even need it because a driveway's going back up there. So the water will flow down the driveway, which is nice, but very irritating because I've spent 3 years of my life digging this trench. Now the only thing I have is moving the house forward. Because I sit on my steps or I have an enclosed front porch. And if I look this way, there's a park right there. You can watch the people at the park. I have pictures to show I can see the park from my steps. And the football game, there's a pool. And so even if that house is moved forward at all, I get to see a house. And it's like the only view to see is, what's going on. 117th Street is a busy street. I'm 5 houses from, where the houses start. So, I just don't understand why that 2 feet is going to be so drastic when there was a 3-family home sitting on that property. And they made it work with their house back where it's supposed to be. And that's all. I lose my vision. And I've been there 31 years. And my mom lives next door to me, and she's been there for 65 years. So this view has always been there. From her porch, from my steps. And I'll just feel absolutely closed in. And then my house was broken into 2 years ago. And I just feel like I'm, hidden with a house up there. It just seems like more of a person that's saying, oh, they're not going to see me. Just weird things go through my head. That's all.
Okay, thank you for
That's
your
all.
comment. I'll give you an opportunity to respond if you would like to give another comment.
Well, the houses are all level. As far as the front facing, just like any house down the street. They're all in a line. There's no difference. My house sits just like hers. I can't see the park.
This is me. There's the park right there.
All right, so there's no back and forth conversation.
Sorry.
Your conversation should be directed at the board.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, do you want to turn that picture into the
Yeah,
board?
I don't-
terrible, but here,
I don't
here's the
understand.
park right here.
Okay, understood. Thank you so
I
much.
had a bush right there that I cut down because it was.
Wait. You can't have more than one person talking at a time.
Sorry.
Right now, I've given Kenneth the floor. Are you done with your comments?
No, the houses are all level, down the whole street. Just like any houses in Cleveland, the streets are level. It's not setting back, it's not setting forward, it's level, it's a street,
Okay, any questions from the board?
And I think the 2 feet that she's worried about is gonna be a porch, it's gonna be open, so she'll be able to still see.
Okay, understood. All right, I will open it up for questions from the board. All right.
Madam Chair, I'm interested to hear from city planning with regard to the front yard setback, and I'm sure they've been out to measure so that they know what the other yards are.
Any comments from city planning regarding the setback?
Good morning. My name is Xavier Bay, representing city planning. So on the site plan now, you can see that the front yard, not including the open porch, is, let me see, what they were actually written up for number 2 here with the 13 feet proposed. And then there's an additional 6 feet, which would be the open porch that they're proposing. So that actually gives them 19 feet as a front yard setback. So item number 2 shouldn't be needed after further review of the site plans.
Great, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, if it were the case that the front porch was closed, then they would require that setback variance. But as you can see on the elevations I just pulled up, the porch is open.
Okay, perfect.
So the main variance they're looking at is the interior side yard, which we would recommend support. It seems like there's enough space for maintenance for both the side yard and any type of alterations that might be needed in the future. Thank you.
Understood. All right, does that conclude your questions, Ms. Faith?
Could I have clarification on the width of the driveway, please? Hard for me to read that dimension.
Yeah, we're just zooming into the plans here now. It looks like 9 feet is
9
proposed.
feet. Okay. So standard width of the driveway. Number two, the front yard setback has been removed. It is not an enclosed front porch, which technically are not allowed. So, we do not need number two. That's all I had. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Faith. Any other questions from other board members?
Madam Chair, just through you, could you speak to, if today's variance is denied, what practical hardship you would face?
Well, right now, my mother is living with me because we sold her house and we planned on building a house on this lot. Like Greg said, we looked into a modular home at first, but that's basically garbage. I mean, it's compared to actual wood and plywood and everything else. It's all plastic and stuff. Holds no value. You know, I think it would, I mean, my mother needs a place to stay. I mean, right now she's living with me and it's not a good situation. I mean, it is a good situation, but when a 60-year-old man is living with his 86-year-old mother, there's friction, but the hardship would be mostly on her. It would crush it.
Thank you. And through you, Madam Chair, I know that you had some additional photos. Are those things that you would like to submit for the record?
No. I'm not opposed to him
Hold on,
building a
hold on
house.
1 second. Chief Leonard, I see that your hand has been raised. Do you have comment?
Yeah, could the applicant clarify on record whether that this intends to be like a 3-season room, screened in or glassed in, or is it truly an open porch? Because that's a foundation line on the permit plans.
It's an open porch. She wants us to
Yeah,
be able to sit on the
this
porch.
is Greg with Paps Construction. The way that we designed this was for his mother to be able to have access to sit on her front porch. It's not going to be enclosed. We did carry the foundation all the way through because we do have trusses going all the way through as well, from the front to the back. So
So
this
he
is
would
going to
need
be an open porch. This is definitely going to be an open porch concept when it's done.
Madam Chair, the applicant will still need the front yard setback since the foundation line is going through.
Okay,
So
understood.
with that, could Xavier clarify the variance setback request?
Yes, so the plans show 13 feet and 5 inches being the proposal from the front parcel line to the foundation line. Let me see. I went out and took some measurements. Give me one moment. I just have to pull them up. Okay, after doing measurements on my site visit, the neighboring homes all sit at about 26 feet and 6 inches. And these are all the homes within 100 feet of the proposed property.
Okay, you said the neighboring properties are all at 26 inches?
26 feet, 6 inches.
6 feet, okay. All right, Chief Leonard, does that conclude your questions?
I don't believe they have the ability to grant the front yard setback here. based on the average along the street, according to the front yard setback rules of 356.
Okay, explain that a little bit more for the record, please.
So generally, the way that you obtain the front yard setback is when more than 20% of the street is filled in, you would take the average of 100 feet in each direction of the home. So in this case, it'd be north and south. And then you arrive at the average setback, which on the adjudication for this, I don't have it in front of me, but on the agenda of the variance that they're requesting is how many feet?
So yep, this is Xavier Bay. So it shows that the applicant's proposing 13 feet and the required front yard average was found to be 15.5 off the adjudication.
So they need a setback of further 2 feet to be able to move forward with the construction of this home.
2 feet.
Is that something that your plans can accommodate, Mr. Haddix?
Absolutely. Yeah, they can accommodate that. We can move that. We've definitely got the footage of the depth of the lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so then can you
Absolutely. If
submit?
that's what we need to do, we'll pull the house back. I'll resubmit it with the 2 foot difference.
Okay, so we will ask that you submit that amended site plan, and we can move forward with a vote that's conditional on us getting that site plan. Do we have any other questions from the board?
Madam Chair, you would remove that variance since he's agreeing in your motion.
Okay, understood. All right, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Madam Chair, motion to approve calendar number 25-122 based on today's testimony and the variance that has been listed for section 357.09.
Okay, and I would just add a friendly amendment that this motion would be contingent on an amended site plan that would show conformance with the variance number 2, which would no longer be needed if that site plan is submitted. Do we have a second?
I second that, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Ms. Faith. Can we call the vote?
Sure. Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Calendar number 25-122 is granted conditionally. We will ratify it next Monday if we receive that site plan this week. If we don't receive it this week, we will ratify it the following Monday.
You will have it this week.
Okay, thank you very much. You are both free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're
Thanks
going
for
to
your
call
time.
You're welcome. We'll go to the next calendar number, which is 25-126. Do we have an appellate present from DMCAS? Okay, please come forward to the table. And while you do that, I have Ms. Holzer reading the case.
Our next case is calendar number 25-126. This is at 5611 Ausweit Avenue. DMCAS owner proposes to install approximately 273 linear feet of 6-foot-high wood fence in a general retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. And with that, I will hand it over to Mr. Madison for the oath.
Thank you. All those who are present for this case, can you please come forward at this time? If you are online and would like to speak to this case as well, can you please raise your hand? All right. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please say your name, spell your name, and provide your address for the record, if I do.
Yes, it's Maury, Maurie, middle initial L, last name Nunn, Nunn. My address is 5611 Outhwaite, Outhwaite Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44104.
And I do, for the record.
And I do.
Thank you. With that, Madam Chair, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, can we have history of the property, please?
Sure, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1912, a permit was issued to erect a 2-story tenement. In 1920, a permit was issued to erect a shed. There are no variances on file for this address. And then in the more recent history in our Acela system, we see that rental registration began in 2012 and was updated as well this year in February. Was a certificate of disclosure issued in 2012 as well, and that was May of 2012, stating that the authorized use of the property is as 6 dwelling units. And that's all that I have that's relevant. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Can we have legal, please?
Did I see Ms. Mary online yet? Nope. All right, I'll read it. Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the fencing requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will, 1, create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district. 2, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights. And 3, granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. I will now turn to you to tell us about your project, please.
Yes, I actually purchased 2 parcels next to me from the land bank. And I actually started the process, believe it or not, like 8 years ago or something like that. Everything was generally approved from Phyllis Cleveland and the whole administration that was here with her. Between then, my files got lost, paperwork got lost. I had to start over from scratch again. I started everything over from scratch, finally purchased the properties, was able to purchase the properties, the lots, in hopes of fencing everything off, growing a garden area for my wife. And the real purpose for it is so my grandmother, who stays in the property, which is 95 years old, and my kids and her great-great-grandkids can have an area to play on and run around without having to deal with sites that's outside of the property. I mean, my opinion is always people always ask me, why haven't I moved? Why haven't I done this? I said, just because you live in the hood doesn't mean you have to look like you live there. It's constant, it's a high drug area, it's a high crime area. I just wanted to put up a 6-foot fence, playground and stuff for my grandkids, so that they don't have to see all the time what's going on outside of the yard. So my grandmother can have space to go outside and soak in some sun. We don't let her go outside much no more unless it's with us because of the crime that's going on around there. Mr. Bay, which I understand his points on everything, proposed a 4-foot fence. A 4-foot fence honestly wouldn't be adequate. I've had gardens in the front, I've had flowers, I've probably spent the solar lights only cost, you get a 6-pack for like maybe $50. I've probably spent $600 over all these years on lights because the kids come past, they take the lights, they take the flowers, whether it's the kids or the drug addicts or whatever. And then in the front area, I wanted to put up a 6-foot fence, which you will totally be able to see through completely. I sent Mr. Bay like a 3D image of it, and I will pass it to you.
Yeah.
Push it over now. And it's on the other page as well. You can see straight through it, so it's not obstructing any view or any pedestrians or anything like that. I can then put proper lighting up and have the front yard looking nice because no one will be able to access the lights I put in, flowers. And I already bought a gazebo and patio swing set to put in for the kids. Everyone knows the stuff is expensive, so I have to try to protect it the best I can. and still have the property looking nice.
So let me just make sure that I understand, because you just submitted this picture and it shows that there's a board-on-board fence across the back of the perimeter, which borders 57th and 56th Streets. Is that
Correct,
right?
and that's an alleyway in the rear.
Okay, and then you have a different fence
Right, that's the-
along Outhwaite, is that right?
Yes, ma'am, that's the front of Outhwaite, so people can see, so people that's walking past, cars that's going past, can see. When people are in the yard, you can see in and out. And he did propose on the on the west end to put a triangle shape fencing, to have a triangle there, which I actually agree with and will do with no problem, because I wanted to put a rock set and a tree set over in that area as well. The project's costing me a ton of money. I mean, it would be beneficial for me to put in a 4-foot fence, because I would save a arm and a leg of money wise. But to properly protect my family, grandkids, and to get them somewhere properly to play and enjoy themselves, and not having to worry about a young guy coming past, jumping the 4-foot fence, or, to be honest, the fence that was proposed to put in, or coming by and kicking the fence down. I mean, if this was Shaker or Beechwood, I would be like, yeah, that's fine. But I've seen what has happened to people's 4-foot fences in the area and stuff like that. One of my friends have a 4-foot fence, and he's constantly complaining because every time somebody's running from the police, he said they jump over the fence, they run straight through my yard. He's tired of it. But I mean, I'm just trying to get my family somewhere nice to gather, not have to worry about someone coming in, taking expensive furniture that I put in there for the patio set and stuff like that, and just have a nice area. And it brings the whole area up. It's the nicest building in the whole area.
Okay. All right, do we have any questions from the board?
Yeah, just Madam Chair, and I know you spoke of this earlier, but can you, just for the record, share with us, if the variance is denied, what's the hardship or practical difficulty you'll face?
I mean, to be honest, I don't let my grandkids really go out much when they're over now, and my grandmother don't go out at all unless she's sitting out with us. And it's constant people running in the yard, or I even have the area that I'm fencing off, cordon off with caution tape, and do not trespass, this and that, this and that. And they see I'm actually working there, and they cut through, and there's no respect. So with a 6-foot fence, it would eliminate all of that problem.
All right, any comments from city planning?
Good morning. My name is Xavier Bay, representing City Planning. As the applicant has mentioned, we tried to reach out and explain just, where we're coming from with our proposal. And so we had recommended, one, instead of altering the type of the fence, to have one cohesive material all around the property. And it sounds like board-on-board wood would be the best move forward, as the applicant has stated they want more privacy. And so we had mentioned we don't mind the 6 feet proposal in the rear and side of the property, but I had discussed further, considering that there's driveways here, and like for pedestrian safety, that the applicant decrease the height of the fence along the sidewalk to 4 feet, with the top half being some type of lattice or picket to allow for visibility. And then I also mentioned the visibility triangle that we propose would be best moving forward on the left side here where the hand cursor is covering, because there's a driveway adjacent to this property as well. And so that's where those are the comments we had relayed to the applicant before the hearing. And so those are the comments that we still stand by today regarding this property.
Okay, and so do you agree that the photos he submitted, does that meet your suggestions? It sounds like there is a different fence going along Outhwaite, and it's 4 feet.
It's actually 6 feet.
The black fence
Yes.
is 6 feet. Okay,
Right, the 6 feet's being proposed all around. We would recommend that the fencing fronting the sidewalk be decreased in height to 4 feet, and with the top half being 50% open with some type of lattice or picket um, to allow visibility.
Okay, and then what is your reaction to the issue of security which is why he's proposing the 6 feet? Is there any consideration for that?
I understand the need, for security, but I mean, really, what I'm speaking to is for the pedestrian safety, for the area. For whatever infill housing may happen in the future, I'm sure there'll be more sidewalk traffic here of, people of all types, of heights and sizes. And so for those reasons, we're proposing that it'd be better to have more opacity and decreased height in the front.
Okay, understood. Any questions from the board?
Yeah, Madam Chair, through you, could you maybe just share, have you had a fence in the area before? What is the crime, that you've seen that makes you want to, have the fence at the height that you have?
Well,
What's your justification for that?
well, it's a fence there now, which is 6 feet. It's been there forever. But over the years, someone ran into part of the fence. We started taking the fence down in certain areas. I've had the runoff, I'll say in the last year alone, at least 3 people from coming in the yard, trying to get in cars or trying to just taking lights out of the yards and stuff like that, even flowers. My wife put up a nice flower bed. We spent a lot of time doing it. Next thing you know, kids came in or I don't know if they were kids, whatever, took the flowers. I then put up security cameras around the whole building. And also the proposed fence that I'm talking about putting up, which is 6 feet, which you can see, a toddler can fall past there and you'll be able to see him. But it'll also in turn I can put my lights, flower beds and stuff on the other side of that with the mulch and no one will have access to it. I mean, and it just makes the whole environment safe. And the reason I went with this type of fence is because the city had told me before that they wanted to keep the area looking appeasing. So it will keep the area looking nice, but it also protects my grandkids, my grandmother when she's out there, my family, period, when they're out there. I mean, this is an area where guys are walking around every day in 90-degree weather with masks on, and sometimes they're not doing anything. Sometimes they're robbing people. You never know. But with the fence, the way I'm proposing, it's more or less likely for somebody to try to get over a 6-foot fence as opposed to a 4-foot fence. You just run and jump over it.
All right, any other questions from the board? I will entertain a motion, please. Oh, Chief Leonard, I can see your hand. Go right ahead.
Madam Chair, just to clarify, the proposal that Xavier's proposing would still allow for it to be 6 feet. It would just be 4 feet board on board, full opacity for the first top 4 feet and then 2 feet above. So that'd be 6 feet total. The 2 feet at the top would be like a crosshatch lattice. So he would still have the 6 feet in height. It would just be open at the top. And that would provide pedestrian safety, but also safety for his family within. So to make sure nobody's hiding behind either side of the fences.
Okay.
But a lattice fence, you can kick straight through. And a lattice fence shows less visibility than the fence I'm proposing. A lot less.
So the lattice on top would be like a crosshatch. You wouldn't kick through it. It would be part of the fence itself. I think we're having a misunderstanding between understanding what the top two would be. It's the normal proposal that the Board of Zoning Appeals and City Planning normally propose when it's a 6-foot privacy fence on the property line.
Okay, does that raise any questions for any board members?
Madam Chair, if we could see that rendering of the fencing again, please.
Mhm.
So the board on board is at the back and along that side yard that is a driveway at this point with his ornamental metal fencing across the fronting. So is it I just want to clarify with Mr. Bay, is the objection you have to the fencing along the side or along the back?
Yes, the objection was for the front, like where the iron rod looking design is.
Right. So you're objecting to the ornamental fence across the front?
Specifically the height.
Okay.
So there's an objection to a 6-foot fence, but you're okay with a wooden 6-foot fence.
Correct. The wooden 6-foot fence in the rear doesn't pose as much just of one of obstruction, and two really just this being a human scale design walking along the sidewalk.
Chief Leonard, do you have additional comment or is that an old hand?
The applicant isn't proposing an ornamental fence, correct? In the front yard?
Yeah, there's a black ornamental, I think wrought iron 6-foot fence across the front.
Along Outway,
Correct.
Yes.
and Xavier's position is against the 6-foot ornamental fence along the front?
It sounds like it, yes. I don't want to speak for you, so.
Correct. Yeah, mainly the height.
I don't have any further questions.
Okay, any other questions from the board?
Madam Chair, quite frankly, I'm not understanding the objection to the ornamental fence in the front. This is a situation where we've had similar mix of fencing material given if it's a side lot, the rear lot, or the front. And I guess my question to the applicant as well is it looks to be that there's a gate also, and is that gate going to be manual or do you plan for it to be motorized?
It's gonna be motorized.
Okay, so given that, if he were to put a motorized gate that would be wooden, it would have to go on a steel frame for operational purposes. Even though it would have a front of wood. And that I think he would incur further costs for that. I have less objection to this ornamental fence across the front. With the board on board being at the rear and the side, frankly.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move approval of calendar number 25-126, given testimony we've heard today.
All right.
Board member
Madison.
Roca,
Sorry, please, Priscilla.
oh. Board member Roca, I second.
All right, thank you. Can we call the vote?
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Mr. Madison,
Yeah.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Calendar number 25-126 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We will send you a letter, but you can contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're all
Thank
set. Good luck with your project. We're gonna move to the next case.
Madam Chair, we did have the violation notice. If you wanted to give the chief of
Yes, did the appellant arrive for
He's
127?
online.
Oh, he's online. Okay. So it looks like we have someone here from AQAR, but I think we lost Chief.
Oh, did we? Okay. Okay.
I don't see Chief online.
And then, Madam Chair, could we see if Aisha White is online? This was heard partially on July 7th. We had an issue with the ownership. Was if we could dispose of her case quickly. I think the next two cases after that will be extensive testimony.
So we've got 25-101. Do we have someone, do we have Aisha White or Asia White? Aisha White present?
I'm here.
Okay, are you present on behalf of Aisha White?
No, I'm on behalf of the calendar. This is my
Okay.
property.
Okay, yep, just hang tight for just 1 second for us. I'm looking for Aisha White. This is related to 2114 West 85th Street. Do we have someone present for this case? All right, looks like we don't.
All right.
So we'll go back to, oh, wait, does somebody want to see if the chief can come? Or I don't think we should go for it without him. So I can call 128 while we wait for chief. Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna call now calendar number 25-128. This is at 1024 East 152nd Street. Do we have an appellant present from 5 Point Center LLC? It looks like we do. Ms. Hoser, I'll have you go ahead and read this case in, please.
Sure thing. Our next case is calendar number 25-128. This is at 1024 East 152nd Street. 5 Point Center LLC owner proposes to establish use as a nightclub in a C2 shopping center district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 3. With that, Madam Chair, I'll hand it over to Mr. Madison for the oath.
Thank you. For all those present for this case, I will swear you in. If you are online, please raise your hand as well so we'll know to come to you. We'll start here in the room. Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and the whole truth? Please raise your hand, reply if I do, state your name, spell your name, and provide your address for the record.
Yes, I do. Craig Dixon, we're the architects for the project.
An address for the record? You can use the one of the firm.
My address for the firm? 1663 Settlers Reserve Way, Westlake.
Thank you.
And just spell your name for us, please.
Craig, C-R-A-I-G, Dixon, D-I-X-O-N.
Okay, so you said Craig and not Greg.
Craig,
That's why
crispy.
we spell. Great, thank you for that.
We'll move online to, I believe it's Michael. You can, please reply if I do, state your name, spell your name, and provide an address for the record.
My name is Michael Gay, and that's spelled G-A-Y. My address is 868 Inglewood Road. That's with an E. That's in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, 44121. And I do.
Thank you. We'll move to, I believe it says Hairston.
Good morning, members of the board. Councilman Anthony Hairston, Ward 10, 601 Lakeside, Cleveland, Ohio. I do.
Thank you. And then there is an email address located on the bottom. Can you please come off of mute and provide the information?
I believe that's you, Ms. Washington. You want to swear in? I can see your hand raised. Ariel Washington, are you prepared to speak in this case? All right, we'll come back to you if that is the case. Do we have anyone else interested in speaking in this case? All right, we'll go to history of the property, please. Thank you, Mr. Madison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, could we ask the council person if he is here to request a postponement?
That would be good information to have at the outset. Councilman, what's your position here?
Not here for a postponement. I'm here to object.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Here. So the property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. The address is in a shopping center district and it's actually under, we found most of the records under the address of 14930 St. Clair. The zoning district of shopping center was established in 1997. The records show that in 1994, a permit was issued to erect a shopping center. And that is for the address on St. Clair, the 14930 St. Clair. For the specific address of 1024 East 152nd Street, we found that only in 1978 that there was a permit to expand existing offices. So again, that would be before the shopping center. And then in the more recent history, found for 1024, just a few sign permits. So I did not find any certificate of occupancies or anything for the address of 1024 East 152nd Street. But then now for the address of 14930 St. Clair, we found 3 variances. In calendar 21-136, this board granted the use of a party center, but that variance expired, and that was in 2021. And then in 2022, this board denied the use as a party center. And again, this is just for the address of, that is for the address of 14930 St. Clair. And there was a specification that it was for unit 17. Then this board in calendar 24-027, and that was in 2024 for the address of 14930. This board granted a variance to change use from offices to a behavioral center. And again, this was restricted to that unit 17. There were conditions that it would be by appointment only, and the hours were specified. We did see then in the more recent history in our Acela system, back to the permits and violations, we saw that in 2023, there was a violation notice due to a collapsing building as a result of a vehicle collision. And then between 1994 and today, there were many electrical and sign permits, but I didn't see much more about a certificate of occupancy. I did receive from the appellant a site plan. This was later in the week, which I did email to the board members this morning, and I can also give you and Mr. Marcus at the table copies of those and help guide you. There are many units in this shopping center.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all that I have.
Okay. There seems to be 2 addresses associated with this shopping center.
Thank you.
I guess in your research of the history, is it just separate sides have different addresses? Why is there 2 addresses in play here?
So it is a range of addresses. Yes, there are separate sites. They do have frontage on East 152nd as well as St. Clair, but it is all one parcel.
Okay.
And it is, most of the permits are under that 14930 St. Clair that we found.
Okay. And on that same parcel is this 1024 East 152nd Street. Okay, got it. All right. Can we have legal, please? Legal leaving us high and dry today.
Okay. Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance. I'm gonna have to enforce those. A use variance and an area variance from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will, 1, result in an unnecessary hardship, particularly property, that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance. Well, 2, deprive the appellant of substantial property rights. 3, granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, the appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. And note that per section 347.12D, the board may approve the variance if it determines that the proposed use by virtue of its nature and location will not adversely affect nearby residential areas or other protected uses. The board may impose any condition deemed necessary to prevent potential adverse impacts. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Can we now turn to someone on behalf of the appellant? Do you want to speak first, or should we have Mr. Gay speak?
I'll
Do
speak.
you want to go first? Okay, state your name and give your comment.
Craig Dixon, with the architects for the project. This might help. Could I put this up somewhere?
Yeah, you can hold it up and just kind of talk to us
Just hold
right
it?
there. Oh, actually, we have that in our face here. Yeah.
Okay. So on that, maybe I can just point here.
Yeah.
St. Clair is at the top of the sheet, facing this way, the way I am. That 14900 address is St. Clair. Those are the buildings that are right up on the street.
Okay.
Then in the back is Family Dollar and a few other tenants. That's where we are. We are number 4,
Got it.
tenant space number 4. And McDonald's is up here on the corner. So that property center that you spoke of was up on St. Clair. We're in the back here. Originally, we were proposing a nightclub. However, recently, our proprietor has asked that this just be a restaurant with a bar, not a nightclub, as we had originally submitted. So maybe there's no need for us to be here. Unless he wants to pursue that nightclub avenue.
Chief
Michael?
Leonard, I
Can
will
I
turn
ask
to
somebody
you.
speak?
It sounds like they are now changing the use request from a nightclub to a restaurant, which will probably remove the need for us to vote on a variance. Does this need to be re-adjudicated? What will be their path forward, given that new information?
Good morning, Madam Chair, Shannon Leonard. So it would need to be re-adjudicated, but the question for the applicant is, does he plan on having any type of music, whether that's a DJ, a jukebox, any kind of live music? Does he plan to do any of that?
No live music per this morning's text that I received.
And would he have a DJ or any kind of music playing from a jukebox?
If I may have Michael Gay speak to that, he's on the screen up there.
Mr. Gay, can you please give a response to the questions that have been proposed by the chief?
Yes, I can. To me, it seems to be some type of communication breakdown. When he came to me several months ago, he wanted to have a restaurant and a lounge. He would have soft music playing for those dining, and he wants to have a nice sit-down restaurant with a lounge. No live music, no disc jockey. This was proposed to me, again, probably back as early as February or March.
Okay, Chief, given that, what's your position here? Should this be sent back for re-adjudication, or should we hear this?
I mean, if they intend to have any type of music of any sort in terms of live music, live entertainment, or a DJ, or any kind of like open mic night, any kind of thing like that, they're going to need to still get the entertainment variance. But it does need to go back and be re-adjudicated, and the application needs to be updated because we adjudicated it based off the application.
Understood. Okay, so we will close this case. We'll have you go back and submit it instead for a nightclub, submit it for the restaurant that you have proposed here today.
Very well.
Could we have the appellant officially withdraw from the
Absolutely.
variance?
So is it your position that you're going to withdraw your variance request today?
Yes.
Given the change in circumstances? Okay, so we have withdrawal of calendar number 25-128. I guess given that withdrawal, Councilman Hairston, would you still like to put any comment? Same question to Ms. Washington.
Thank you, Madam Chair. seeing that they are withdrawing their nightclub variants, I was absolutely opposed to a nightclub going here in this shopping plaza, but I am open to a conversation regarding the restaurant and lounge. And so I'm not familiar with Mr. Gay. I've never seen or heard from him, and so I would be happy to have a conversation with him. Thank you.
Mr. Hairston, how does he find you if he wants to reach out?
He can call 664-4743 or go to clevelandcitycouncil.org, click my picture, my email is there.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
All right, this matter is now adjourned. We'll see you if you have to come back.
Thank you.
All right, very good. We're not
Thank
gonna
you
go
very
back.
much. Everybody have a good day.
All right, you too.
Okay,
Sorry
bye.
for the confusion.
No worries. All right, we'll go back to calendar number 25-127. I still don't see the chief in the room.
I just emailed him just now.
Okay.
If you want to go on to the next one.
All right, so then I'll move to 25-101. I think I saw Aisha White join us online. I feel like I saw that name pop up. Maybe not. Miss White, are you present? All right, I am not hearing anything. I'm gonna now call calendar number 25-082. Is there any,
If she is on the call, she may have missed the instruction to use *6.
oh,
To
Miss White,
unmute.
please
I
press
apologize.
*6 if you're on the call so that we can hear you, because we can't hear you at this time. Miss White, if you're present, please press *6 to unmute yourself and let us know that you're here. I can see that we have one call-in user. Okay, you're unmuted. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Aisha White. I was trying to connect my husband in because I'm at work right now. It's not allowing me to do so, so I'm gonna just have to do this from the kitchen really quick.
I'm sorry, I did not understand what you just said. Are you prepared to go forward with your case today?
Yes, I can move forward. I was trying to click my husband in so that he would be able to talk because I'm at work. But I'm gonna just stay in the kitchen for a little while. So
Okay.
we can move forward.
All right, Ms. Hoser, can you go ahead and read in the case? We're at calendar number 25-101.
Sure thing. Our next case is calendar number 25-101. This is at 2114 West 85th Street. Aisha White, owner, proposes to change the use of a single-family residence to a residential facility for 5 people in a B1 two-family zoning district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. This ownership information. The correct owner is identified above. Again, Aisha White. And with that, I will hand it over to Mr. Madison for the oath.
Thank you. So I will swear you into this case. Is there anyone in the room for this case before we move online? All right. So please, you're going to raise your hand, reply if I do, state your name, spell your name, and provide an address for the record. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please reply if I do.
I do.
And please state your name and spell your name for the record.
Aisha White, AISHIA WHITE.
And what's your address?
My address is 6061 Father Caruso Drive, Cleveland, Ohio, 44102, Unit 3416.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this case? With that, I'll turn it over to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you for that. We'll go to history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. There are no variances on file for this address. We found very little on this property. We found that in 1919, a permit was issued to erect a garage. And then in the more recent history, we see that there was a certificate of disclosure issued in 2019, stating that the authorized use of the property is as single family. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, legal, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Ms. White, you want to tell us about the project, please?
Sure. I bought this house in the area that I live in. I also have a child care center in the same area, 44102. It was to be an assisted living home for elderly people over 65 and over. We will be working with the Western Reserve area on aging to provide services to elderly people.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your business plan? Tell us about your staffing, your hours of operation, and so forth, please.
So our business plan is for me and my husband. We will be the one overseeing the operation. We may hire 1 or 2 employees. We will have 5 residents in the home. Someone will always be there at all times. We have a handbook. We have all of our documents already printed out. We did not know.
Ms. White, you're kind of cutting out a little bit. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm at work. So it will be my husband and I, and we will hire 2 other people who will be fingerprinted, as well as go through a total background check. Yes, Mr. Chris. Okay. It would be my husband and I. There would be 2 other staff with fingerprints. We have our handbook together. We have all of our documents and everything together. But what we did not know was that there were 2 other homes in close proximity of our property when we bought the property. So that's what we're running. That's the risk we're facing right now.
Okay, understood. Any questions from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a couple. Can you speak to first just your community engagement? Have you talked to other residents in the neighborhood? Are they aware of the facility that you would like to have operated?
Yes, I've talked to the pastor of the church. There's a church directly across the street. I've spoken to a lot of the neighbors. I've actually met one of the people who run the group home that's almost directly across the street from my facility. I passed out flyers. I've actually had people sign like a little petition flyer saying that they were okay with the home coming into the area.
And have you had a chance to engage with the council member as well?
I did speak with the girl. I was not able to speak with her directly, but I spoke with a guy that I guess he speaks for her, and he does not endorse group homes or anything like that. I think her name is Jenny.
Thank you. Can you speak to just the security plan that you have set in place, not only for the residents in the neighborhood, but for your staff and yourself?
Yes. If there was an emergency, the churches, the pastor of the church actually lives like 2 houses down from the church. He said that we would be able to go and evacuate to the church at any time if needed.
And through you, Madam Chair, what are the age of the 5 residents that you would like to provide service for?
They're going to be 65 years and older.
Through you, Madam Chair, do you plan to distribute medication of any sort?
It depends. We will not be disrupted. We will not be giving any narcotics, but things like Tylenol and like amoxicillin, medications like that. Yeah.
And just
But
last
no
question.
narcotics.
Thank you. Last question. What is your recruitment plan to identify the individuals that are 65 years or older? And do you plan to seek state certification? And if so, can you speak to that?
The way we would get the people would be it's a agency called the area, Western Reserve Area on Aging. They would actually be the one to place the people into our home, and that's how we would get them.
And can you speak to the state certification? Are you state certified? Do you plan to seek certification?
No, I would have to. Yes, I'm looking to seek certification, but I would have to have a building permit first.
And can you also just speak on your own personal experience with working with this population?
Well, I don't have a lot of personal experience with working with 65 years or older, but I do own a child care center, which is right around the corner from the house, about 5 minutes. I have worked with people with mental illness, DODD. Some of those people have been older. I am certified as a independent provider with DODD as well. So helping people and serving people is something that I've always loved to do. And I've been in business now for 20 years with childcare.
All right, any other questions from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Rocco.
Thanks, Ms. Faith. I just want to, through you to Mr. Bay, just confirm that I'm seeing 6 other residential facilities in the vicinity. Is that correct?
Good morning.
No,
My
they
name is
said that it was 3.
Hold on a second, Ms. White. We're gonna have city planning speak to that.
Yeah, hi there. My name is Xavier
Okay.
Bay. On the screen, you can see the blue square represents the proposal at 2114 West 85th. And then to the south of that, these 2 homes are the only 2 that are within 1,000 feet of the proposed facility. On the top, you'll see a cluster of homes that are outside of the 1,000-foot buffer. So there are
Okay.
only 2 existing facilities within 1,000 feet.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right,
Madam-
I think Ms. Faith, you had questions?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Mhm.
I'm looking at the Google Maps view of this house, and there is a vehicle parked off of the driveway. This is not a current picture, but it looks to me like the driveway is very narrow, and they're having difficulty getting a vehicle past the house to the garage, and the front sidewalk is paved right into the driveway. So I have concerns about loading and offloading of residents and staff parking and the use of the front sidewalk for parking. So I just want to make the appellant aware that they cannot be parking on the front sidewalk. And if she could speak to their plans for transport of the residents.
All right, Ms. White, you have the floor.
Yes.
Please respond to that question.
Yes, we will have a minivan for the resident to transport them to and from their doctor's appointments and things like that. We also do have enough room to pull into the
Ms. White,
driveway. The driveway
we
is
can't hear
narrow.
you. Ms. White, you're a little muffled. We're having a hard time hearing you.
Hold on. Can you hear me better now?
That's better.
Can you hear me better now?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we will be using a minivan, and the driveway is narrow, but the van is able to fit through the driveway. We have a gate back there and a garage, and I've pulled my car myself all the way to the back. So cars can fit in the driveway, but it is narrow.
Okay. And then my second question is, what is your plan should funding be eliminated for the care of these individuals? I am aware that the Department of ODJFS approved many people's waiver spans, which is the funding that supports home care. So I'm wondering what you would do should the residents no longer have funding that covers their rent.
I probably will reach out to the family and see if the family will be able to cover them. maybe Meredith Taylor. I would just see what resources I can find for them, but I will not put them out.
Okay. That concludes my questions, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you, Ms. Faith. Any other questions from board members?
Thank you. Just the Madam Chair, could you please speak to, if this variance is denied, what practical hardship or difficulty would you face?
Well, first of all, I bought the home just for that. I already have a home, right around the corner on Father Caruso Drive. So I guess the financial variance would be the fact that I don't want to be a landlord. I bought this house to help to serve the community. And if not, then I would just have to sell.
Thank you.
All right.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I do have a letter of opposition.
Okay, please go ahead and put that on the record, please.
This is from Louisa C. Hoffman at 2104 West 85th Street. I'm writing to express my strong opposition to the proposed zoning ordinance that would change the property at 2114 West 85th Street to a two-family residential zoning district. As a resident of this neighborhood, I am deeply concerned about the continued increase in housing density on our street. West 85th Street already has a high concentration of two-family homes and single-family homes occupied by more residents than originally intended. Adding yet another multi-family property will only intensify the parking shortages we already experience on a daily basis. With limited space available, more residents would mean more cars and even less parking for those who live there now. Additionally, this change will likely bring increased noise level, further disrupting residential character of the neighborhood. Our community is already coping with very high noise levels, and approving the zoning change would worsen the quality of life for many current residents. I respectfully urge you and the zoning commission to oppose this ordinance at the hearing on July 7th. Please prioritize the well-being of existing residents who are already impacted by overcrowding and lack of infrastructure to support further population growth on this block. Thank you for your time, Louisa C. Hoffman. And for the record, July 7th was the last time it was scheduled. Thank you.
Okay. And any other questions from the board? All right, and then Mr. Bay, I know you were asked the question about the vicinity. Do you have other comments in addition to that?
Typically, this is Xavier Bay speaking. Typically, we recommend opposition of increasing the amount of residential facilities where there are already like clusters, as you see on the screen. This is really to prevent the neighborhood from being a little more institutional in nature, and continuing to retain the residential context of the neighborhood. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. I'll entertain a motion, please.
Madam Chair, motion to deny calendar number 25-101 based on the testimony and the close proximity of the other locations providing similar services within the neighborhood.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Madison. Is there a second?
Board Member Roca, I second.
All right, thank you, Ms. Roca. Can we call the vote?
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Calendar 25-101 is denied. This decision will be ratified next Monday, and we will send the appellants a letter.
All right, thank you for that. We are now going to call calendar. You're welcome. We're now going to call calendar number 25-127. We're back at AQAR LLC. I do believe we have an appellant present, so we'll have Ms. Holzer read in the case. If you're present for this case, please come forward.
Our next case is calendar number 25-127. This is at 10309 Lorraine Avenue. This is a violation notice. AQAR LLC owner, parenthetically also known as Smokers Kingdom, appeals under the authority of Section 76-6 of the Charter of the City of Cleveland and Section 329.02D of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances from the notice of violation number V25018933 issued on June 12, 2025, by the Cleveland Department of Building and Housing and for failure to comply with section 327.02B and C of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances, which state that there shall be no change, substitution, or extension in the use of any building or premises until the required use permit and certificate of occupancy has been issued by the Division of Building and Housing. Per section 347.21, any establishment using 20% or more floor, shelf, and or display areas individually or in aggregate for the sale of smoke shop products is defined as a smoke shop and requires an application and approval form from the Department of Building and Housing. This was filed on June 30th, 2025. With that, I will hand it over to Mr. Madison for the oath.
Thank you. I will swear those interested in speaking on this case. If you're present in the room, please come forward to the table. If you are online, please raise your hand so that we can come to you next. Those who are in the room, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please say your name, state your name, spell your name, and provide your address for the record. We'll start right here with you, sir.
I'm right here.
I'm sorry, I'm David Roberts, Chief Assistant Director of Law representing the City of Cleveland, so I won't be offering any testimony, only legal argument.
Thank you.
Danny Kelly, 601 Lakeside Avenue, Councilman Ward 11.
Hello, my name is Mohammed.
No, I'm sorry, Mohammed. Can you please wait? We have some more people here in the room.
Chad Dasher, Weston Community Development Corporation, DASHER, 9926 Lorraine Avenue. I do.
And I do.
I do.
Thank you. We'll move to you, Mohammed. Please state your name, spell your name, state your name, and provide your address for the record.
Yes, sir. My name is Mohammed Yassin. Spelling is MOHAMMEDYASSIN. My last name. My address is 26736 Fairfax Lane, North Olmsted, Ohio, 44070.
And I do.
I do.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present for this case?
No, I'm alone.
With that, I'll turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Madison. Can we have history of the property, please?
Madam Chair, this is an administrative appeal. We do not do the
You're absolutely correct. Thank you for that. I'll
I
take
will
legal
read
though.
the legal standard. Yes. Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is appealing a violation notice issued by Cleveland Department of Building and Housing. Standard of review is whether the administrative decision was illegal, arbitrary, capricious, unreasonable, or unsupported by preponderance of substantial, reliable, and probative evidence. If the appellant fails to meet this burden, the administrative decision must be affirmed.
All right, thank you for that. I will start with you. Can you tell us about this appeal, please?
Oh, I was going to let Mr. Yassin go first, and then I would reserve the right to ask him questions and then make an opposition at the end to his request that the violation notice be reversed.
All right, we'll turn it over to you then, Mr. Yassin. Please go right ahead.
Since I've gotten the notice, I've complied with all requirements. I filed for everything I needed. As of right now, I'm just waiting for my response. And the ones that for the signage part, I took everything down.
Okay.
All right, can I inquire of Mr. Yassin?
Please go right ahead.
Mr. Yassin, are you looking at the violation notice dated June 12th that went to AQAR LLC?
Yeah, I'm not the property owner, but I'm the business owner.
Okay, but there's nothing on there about signs. It's about the use you're making of the property, right?
No, I got notices about the signage as well.
Okay, but just so you know, we're here today on the question of whether you can legally be a smoke shop.
As for that, I have recently filed. I was at the place to file for the occupancy not too long ago. Since then, I've gotten emails that my zoning has been approved and all this. I'm just waiting for them to come out.
Okay, so Mr. Yassin, to be clear, you're agreeing that what the products you sell are what are called smoke shop products, correct?
20% of it, yes.
Okay, and when the inspector came on June 12th, he saw that you were selling that kind of product.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not disputing that you need to have a smoke shop certificate of occupancy?
So so this case is only solely prior toward the occupancy, correct?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
This whole case and matter is all about the occupancy, correct?
Correct.
Then no. Since I got the notice, I've been complying.
Okay, well, let me ask you again. So you're selling smoke shop products, right?
Yeah.
And you do not have a certificate of occupancy to be a smoke shop.
Correct.
So you are in violation currently of the zoning law.
Yeah.
And so the notice that Inspector Aaron Arnold sent to you is in fact a correct notice insofar as it says you're operating illegally.
Yeah.
And so is there any reason for the board not to uphold the notice since you're acknowledging that the notice is correct?
Can you repeat the last one?
Is there any reason the board should not uphold the notice since you are conceding that the notice is in fact correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, that makes it pretty simple. I will give you an opportunity to respond. We'll start with Mr. Dasher. Go right ahead.
If you move ahead, we have Chad Dasher, Westtown Community Development. If you move ahead in the slides there, we have an objection letter from our executive director.
Okay.
And we'll stand by that. That's kind of our stance.
Okay.
We've gotten a lot of questions from our board who are made up of residents and stakeholders in the neighborhoods as well as residents about the amount of these shops in the Westtown service area, which is up to like 14 now.
Understood. All right, Councilman.
Object.
Yeah, I agree with the CDC. We just have too many of them in our ward right now. And we're just going to stand by what the CDC says and what my residents and the board members of the CDC say. Stay on this and go along with them not being there for that.
Understood. Any questions from the board?
I have one question.
Thank you. All right, thank you. This is directed to the board members at this time. Are there any additional questions on this matter? All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Madam Chair, given the testimony that we've heard, I move that we support the decision of the violation notice.
All right, is there a second on that motion?
Board Member Roca, I second upholding the city's decision.
All right, thank you. Can we call the vote, please?
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Calendar number 25-127 is denied. The violation notice V25018933 has been upheld. This will be ratified next Monday, and we will send the appellant a letter.
All right, thanks for being here, everyone. Thank you. We'll now call the last and final case, which is calendar number 25-082. Do we have someone present from Pure Supermarket, Inc.? All right, come forward. If you're here to testify in this case, please come forward. And while you do that, Ms. Holzer, I'll have you read in the case.
Sure thing. Our next case is calendar number 25-082. This is at 4281 West 130th Street. Pure Supermarket, Inc. owner proposes to erect 6 fuel pumps and establish use as a motor vehicle service, parenthetically gas station, in a C1 local retail business district and riparian wetland zone / restoration riparian setback. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 5 with, I think number 2 has a couple of 3 notes associated or subsections associated. This case was postponed from June 2nd at the request of city planning to allow time for the appellant to submit a riparian wetland mitigation plan. It was again postponed on June 30th at the request of the councilman, or at the request of Councilman Casey, to allow time for him to conduct a community meeting. And with that, I will hand it over to Mr. Madison for the oath.
Thank you. At this time, if you are here for this case, please raise your hand and we're going to swear everyone in and then we'll move to those who are online. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and provide an address for the record. We'll start here and just move across.
Good morning, Nate Ball, Green City Planning, 601 Lakeside Avenue. Hi.
GILDER, I'm a community activist for the community of Bel Air.
Provide your address for the record.
2713 First Street, FIRSBY Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44135.
Thank you.
My name is Abdullah Hussein, ABDULLAHUSSAIN. 36355, San Dino, right? It's like Ohio, 44095.
Thank you.
Julius Tate. I am the developer on the project. I am 5224 West 48th Street, Ohio.
My name's Robert Woods. I do. I live at 4257 West 130th Street, directly north of the property in question.
Rosemary Wood, OSEMARYWOOD. I do. 4257 West 130th.
Thank you.
Austin Raymond, Jefferson Puritas, West Park CDC, 14703 Puritas Avenue. I do.
Melissa Miller Sedlock, MELISSA MILLER from the Jefferson Puritas West Park Community Development Corporation, 14703 Puritas Avenue, 44135.
Tad Dasher, DASHER, Westtown Community Development Corporation, 9926 Marine Avenue. I do.
And Danny Kelly, KELLY, Cleveland City Councilman, Ward 11, 601 Lakeside Avenue. I do.
Thank you. With that, we'll move to those who are online. Councilman, can you please unmute and please state your name, spell your name, provide the address, and I do.
Councilman Brian Kazy, KAZY, Cleveland City Council, Ward 16, 601 Lakeside Avenue. I do.
Thank you, Councilmember. Is there anyone else present for this case that would like to speak? If so, please raise your hand at this time. All
Are
right.
you all gonna speak?
We have Donnie DiGeronimo online too.
No? Hold on one second. In the back of the room, are you all gonna speak in this case? No? Okay. What about you over there? Are you all gonna speak in this case? Okay, very good. You said you have someone online?
Donnie DiGeronimo.
Contractor.
Would you like to speak on this case? If so, just please raise your hand, reply with I do, and state your name. That you do swear or affirm that the testimony that you're going to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
And can you just state your name, spell your name, and provide your address for the record?
Don DiGeronimo, DIGERONIMO, address 6500 Daisy Avenue, Independence, Ohio, 44131.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Back to you.
All right, let's go to history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 2009, it was changed to local retail business. We did have issues finding address information on the specific address of 4281 West 130th. We did find that it is also known as 12900 through 12912 Bel Air. We didn't find anything in our records administration office for those addresses. We did see that in 1994, and this was in our Arcellus system, for the addresses of 12912 plus 12900 Bel Air, a permit was issued for each of those addresses to demolish single-family dwellings on the site in 1994. Then there's one variance on file in calendar 96-186, and this is 1996. The appellant requested to install, not today's appellant, but it was Walgreens, it was the owner at the time, requested to install a fence around a Walgreens building on site, but that application was withdrawn. And I did a little more digging and I found that the county auditor states that the structure was built in 1995. And that's all that I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and area variances from the minimum distance and wetland riparian setback requirements in zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in unnecessary hardship, particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance. Deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting of the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. I will now turn to the project team. Mr. Tate, do you want to go first?
We'll let
You want to have your architect speak for you?
no, if they want
You
to.
go.
Yeah, this is your project. You
Okay.
have to just tell us about your project.
So with this project, Walgreens is going to be a home of Pure Supermarket and gas station. The goal of the gas station is to offset any costs occurred by having fresh produce, fresh meats, things of that nature that the amenities that community needs direly currently don't have. Currently, this is registered as a food desert. We've been pretty communicative with both wards, Councilman Kelly, Councilman Casey. Both CDCs were invited in the original meeting dating back to October and November of last year. We've had 2 community meetings of our own with both wards involved, both wards entertained. We started the first ward meeting with 57 members from the community, which grew to 261 for our last, which was our second joint community meeting for both wards to be present. Of that, we had an enormous amount of support. We've had words from both councilmen at that meeting that was aware of the notion of our notion to bring about the gas station in support of the supermarket. Reason supermarkets are not present right now, especially in this nature, is profitability. This area, Bel Air and Puritas, the federal poverty rate is all-time high. Those are the papers that I sent you guys that you can see, and I also sent them in way of email. That's why we won't see a Giant Eagle, a Mark's, things of that nature that has those fresh amenities, those foods that are beyond shelf stables and more of a healthier option for both elderly, the youth, and just those in general. This gas station opportunity gives us the ability to offset those costs and not worry about profitability, but look at the community, look at the health. And during this project, we've looked over several different cities, all the way from North Olmsted, Rocky River, Cleveland, Euclid. We've looked a handful of places, and the history on this dates back a little further than is actually listed. This used to be a gas station. Then it went to a fast food restaurant. We've had several business owners in the area that actually are in favor of this, that walked the grounds when they were pulling the tanks out from it being a gas station formerly. Way before Walgreens, way before the restaurant. And they was like, it's a great idea, right? And I was like, that's what our team thought. As far as traffic patterns, there's no issues. Safety, I think we can all address that a vacant building is an eyesore and a nuisance for everybody, not just that community. So I would digress at that point and just state the gas station portion is not a standalone. It is an addition to the supermarket in our overall project.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Mr. DeGeronimo, do you want to speak in addition to what we've heard so far? All right, I will then go back to Ms. Malone. Do you want to give comment?
Yes, when the supermarket first started to come, I'm a community activist in the ward. I've ran for council previously. I went over and I spoke with the people at the supermarket, asked them what they wanted to do, what was their project. I was very much in agreement to them because they said that they wanted a service station and a grocery store. And one of my most main attractions for being in there is we're in a food desert. And a lot of people in this area walk a lot of miles to get to the grocery store. And not only do they walk, they go in inclement weather. But what I found more rewarding of overall, when you say gas station, you don't want a gas station, I looked at the fact that they're not selling beer, wine, blunts, cigarette products. So they are not there to make money off of bad things or attract a bad group of people. They are there to bring products and to keep shelf life products on the shelf. Because as you know, meat and vegetables do go bad. Yes, we do have a Dollar Tree, but they don't have meat and vegetables. And the food doesn't consist of meats, vegetables, which will make our community healthy. And as of Ward 11, if you read over that sheet, you can see that Ward 11, where they are now, where the store sits, that's more or less a poverty-rized area. So yes, they're going to come and buy food. Yes, they're going to pay food stamps, but no, they are not going to be the total support. In that neighborhood, it's sitting on the corner of West 130th and Bel Air, which is a highly trafficked area. So that area will attract customers to buy saying gas. Yes, we do have gas stations in that area, but none selling good gas. We have to go all the way to Brook Park. So with that, I really do think that we need this. I went to the housing development building last evening, and yes, the poorest of poor people are discussing this and needs this.
Okay, thank you for that. Do you want to give your comment next? State your name and then give your comment.
My name is Abdullah, Abdulla. Last name Hussein, Hussin. I'm bringing my business in this area because when I'm saying this area, it has no big store for the people or no branding gas station. I think the council is happy with this area because no big company is coming open big store or gas station. I'm ready. I get the business on Euclid Avenue, couple of business, and I need to add this business to the business what I'm have. Okay. The state and the city right now I'm paying over 1,700,000 a year for 2 gas station. It's taxes. If I'm off the supermarket right now and the gas station, we add the taxes to the city and the state and the federal. And I don't know what some council is angry. He's doing the gas station in this area. And I'm buying the Walgreens almost like 2,600,000. Plus I'm paying now 1 year is mortgage, almost like 150,000. Plus the property tax, $70,000. And I'm paying all this year. I'm buying on August 2004, 1st August, almost a year and 4 days. We need help the city, the neighborhood. We have a hot food inside. It's very cushion. We have a meat, cut meat, fresh meat. We have vegetable. We have everything inside this store for the neighborhood. Because nothing in this store, the people you go long far to buy shopping. I'm not coming there. I need to make money from these people. I'm not buying beer in the store. I'm selling beer? No. I'm not buying cigarette or smoke shop inside the store, not. Yes, we bring what the people you eat every day. What the people walking to the store, the old people, the kids. But I think when we need help the neighborhood and the government, the people that is coming, you know, is not happy some people. If I'm going to some state, I'm open business for $3 million or $4 million, it means happy. But here is nobody is happy. I'm saying from the council, some council. He's against to me. I'm saying that is no needed business in this area. Thank you.
Okay.
If I
For
may,
your comments, state your name briefly.
Julius Tate, developer for the project. In regards to this family and their commitment thus far, as he said, this project's been going on over almost a year. August 13th will be a year to date that we've dealt with the city. We dealt with the economic department. We dealt with the task force for the city to come out and look at new opportunities. We both both CDC wards, tried to deal with Councilman Casey and his team. Have not heard back from them or their ward. Dealt with Councilman Kelly on several occasions, some through one of my partners, the DiGeronimo family, as far as the infrastructure to build out. We got a lot of support for the supermarket in total, right? Even Casey said himself, Councilman Casey said himself, I don't care about the products. I don't want a gas station. He said that when it was just the economic department, several personnel members from planning, your task force, and just our internal group of developers. And I asked him, Councilman Casey, what's the problem? We're here to help. And his main issue at that time, he stated that there was enough gas stations, maybe in his ward and 2 up the street. But there's also 3 others that's dilapidated that was a concern to him that has tanks in the ground that is abandoned and left alone. And my partner, Donnie DiGeronimo, was standing next to Councilman Casey. And I said, well, Mr. Casey, this is the opportunity for us to work together. Maybe our team could help you solve some of the issues in your community. The city's not doing it. The state's not doing it. There's a brownfields department. Maybe we can allocate some of those funds and work with them. I don't care. I don't care about your partner said it's that easy. And I'm like, well, my partner's experienced in that. My partner dealt with the state for generations. His family's dealt with the state for generations on infrastructure and build outs. This isn't just a family wanting to target an area that's populated and got high traffic. This is a family that's committed to bringing change to a population that's not getting amenities that they need, not that we want them to have. In a food desert, most of the youth sickness comes from what they put in their body. If they're going to the convenience store to get shelf stabilizers, sugar, and everything else as their necessities, you tell me, what's the problem? Is it the food or the lack of? The necessity we're trying to bring about cost. And we're not trying to subsidize things from the city. The city hasn't given us a dime. We haven't asked for a dime. And there's other organizations that opened a Latino market just opened. We're in support of all of that. This supermarket will be like your Giant Eagle, open for everybody. White, black, pink, or purple, right? No bias when it comes to cultures. No bias when it comes to needs. Everybody need produce. Everybody need fresh food. As of date, this family has committed and spent over $2.8 million for this operation today. This isn't something that they're trying to win over somebody's head. It's something that we've been copacetic with everybody involved, and yet got shunned from Councilman Casey and his team. Of the 261 that came to our last meeting, it was only his group that was in opposition. And that was only 6 people at that time. Last meeting we were in, Councilman Casey said he didn't have opportunity to share this with his community. November 6th, his guy from CDC, Austin over there, created a flyer mentioning that meeting back on November 6th of supermarket and pure supermarket and gas station, and invited their community to come out and share their thoughts, concerns, or questions. As of this 29th that just passed, Austin also sent out another flyer misrepresenting the take that this project is doing. This new flyer that he sent out, which we didn't get copies of, which the board asked that we work together on that. I came June 29th, I came and met with Miss Elizabeth just to try to make sure, hey, collectively, have you had any dates given to you yet for the meeting? Time's ticking. We want to make sure everybody's included in both wards that's going to be affected. It's got a stance, a fighting chance. She said, no, we haven't heard anything, but I think he's going to zoom in during that meeting. I don't think he's he can't postpone, but he's not going to be there, but he's going to zoom in. You should go downstairs. June 29th, I went to the Councilman Chambers, tried to meet with him. He was not there. We left a message with his secretary, asked him specifically to reach out and why. I have not heard from them as of today. I was told just 2 days ago that they had a meeting. Councilman Kelly just walked up to us as we were walking in the building. Hey, did you guys have your meeting yet? We had our 2. Oh, you guys were supposed to have another one. No, we were supposed to jointly have one, which we never heard. And he said, yeah, well, I heard they had theirs. I wasn't there, but they had theirs. Okay. We'll figure out what the results came about. But we've been in the community since August of last year, door knocking, canvassing over 10,000 homes in both wards. I've dealt with every church over there in that ward, as those are normally your staples for a food desert. Most of the pantries don't exist no more. Most of the food outlets don't exist no more. Even the park that they had created for produce and gardening, I don't believe that is even operational no more. One of the church members, and I sent it in way of a document support, he said his biggest problem was feeding the veterans and the elderly over in those apartment high rises. He said when they had those other 2 gas stations come about up the street, that was the biggest fight. You help me feed them, you'll get our support. We're about the community. They need to eat. What are they eating from those kind of organizations? It's still food, but it's not the best food. It's your chicken. It's your fried things that they could turn around pretty fast.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry to interrupt. Mr. Tate is referencing items that we just received in our email inbox this morning at 9:30. So staff hasn't been able to see these, and the board hasn't been able to see these yet.
Okay.
So if you want to go forward with that knowledge or postpone, that might be something we might want to consider. It's a lot of information. Received 6 attachments this morning at 9:35 for Mr. Tate, and a second email with 3 attachments.
And what are in the attachments?
Everything that you guys asked for, her email originally was rejected. And I had to change the name, and I didn't catch that. But I think I sent it to Nate and them earlier in the day. And I've met with the team that you guys are counseling, Cuyahoga Soil and Water District. We've been working with them diligently, as well as the environmental specialists we hired, Environmental Design Group. This group have went over all the mitigation plans with us. We are prepared for the mitigation plan. Everything that's addressed and what's needed it was shared from the people that are counseling you guys, Brent and his partner Jared, that the council is new to this, right? That some of the ordinances that you guys are understanding or having trouble understanding, that they're helping you guys navigate through. Normally in a variance, something like this, it comes after the fact, after the variance is granted. Even my partners in some of the development, right? To get the mitigation plan in full detail, you're talking about $45,000. My client has already spent $5,500 to get the report that we just submitted to make sure we was prepared and addressed. We shared that with both the Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District, who said that's fine. Of that, it's already been updated. You guys got less than a quarter of the setback that's even need to be addressed. Technically, you're only supposed to be within 70 feet of that to even have an issue. We're 300 from where the construction will take place for the pumps.
Xavier, would you mind putting up the map to show the board where the riparian setback falls on the parcel?
Even from the folks that are counseling you guys said, we don't see an issue here. This has already been updated. The fact that we're changing it from retail to general use is the grandfather clause falls off. Everything that was grandfathered in, even from the signage sign, has to get updated the date you guys vote on that.
Okay. Mr. Bay, can you give us a little context for this map that we're seeing on the screen?
Yep, so this is Xavier Bay. And we've outlined the yellow as the property in question. This blue hatched area shows you the riparian setback.
Got it.
And you can go to the site plan and it can show it, or even the plan that.
Hold on one second. Okay, I'm gonna give others an opportunity to chime in. I do have next on the list, Robert Wood and Rosemary Wood. Do you all want to give comment at this time?
Yes, actually, like to be assured that the Board of Zoning Appeals has received the letter that we sent the other day with illustrations of that riparian setback.
Yes, this is confirmed.
Are the illustrations available?
That is a good question. Do you have illustrations available in your presentation, Mr. Bay?
I don't believe I have them in the presentation.
Okay.
Can I
All
pass
right.
them out?
Yes, you can give copies to the board.
There's 3 copies here of the letter with illustrations.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead with your comment, please. Okay, and before you start, I want to make sure that you're going to just go ahead and give comments. We have the letter in front of us, so I don't need you to read every single word. Do you want to just briefly summarize your position on this?
Oh, I could do that. Yes, actually 2 main considerations for the board. Number 1, of course, is the riparian preservation. The fact is, and if you'll reference a couple of those illustrations, the parking lot, when Walgreens owned and operated that area, had considerable flooding in the back, the north side of their parking areas. Those backups did 2 things, actually. The first was a erosion and deterioration on our property, which is directly to the north side. And we're separated between the old Walgreen property, the pure supermarket property now, and our property by Big Creek watershed, which is now a sanctioned watershed and the reason for the riparian setback. Our second main concern are the traffic congestion concerns that I'm not sure if anyone has done a traffic survey. At one time, I was aware that there were in excess of 30,000 vehicles up and down the corridor of West 130th Street and that Bel Air intersection. On average, I'm not looking at my notes, but on average, I believe there were between 2 and 6 collisions of some sort in that area per month. We've witnessed this. We've been residents there for 50 years plus. I did own a small business there for 45 of those years. And I can speak to the amount of traffic that goes by, and that is a relatively major concern, that adding additional vehicles coming in and out of that property would be detrimental to the flow of that intersection. And I would at least want some type of a traffic survey be submitted in order to justify that type of service station, a gasoline dispensing station. I think on the onset of that letter, I did not really, or I did clearly speak to my, excuse me, to my objection to both the sharing of the riparian area and the traffic congestions. Most recently, what we have, as the direct neighbor behind them, we have recently been subjected to is truck parking back there on that north side of their parking lot. Going forward, there will be deliveries and parking, a lot of diesel fumes. And I'm not sure if the mitigation that they're referring to will address all the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide that will be migrating down into the creek bed area, which is a much lower, when Walgreens was originally put in, they did raise that area by about 4 to 5 feet higher than it was originally. A lot of that runoff that I was referring to previously did come over their curbing when they had their sewer blocks, and did deteriorate and erode our property, which we have taken care of that erosion. I'd really like to see something else addressed there as well. The illustrations of when I say they, it was Walgreens at the time, not the pure supermarket people, cut the curbing, and it wasn't, our fence does not let us see what's actually going on in that parking lot. They cut the curbing, and water then was flowing over onto our property, additional erosion in a different spot from the original erosion. Their solution to that problem was to add a French drain. That French drain collects the water and runoff from their asphalt parking lot and flows directly into the big creek. They actually went onto our property and ran piping. We had no knowledge of that until much later. That was done during the winter sometime, when we're really not very aware of things going on in that back area behind our property. In addition to that, there's one more illustration that I'd like to refer to, which is the curbing, which is at a right angle. It's has been separated, I believe, just by natural movement of the ground back there. And that is, again, also permitting any type of washout from that parking lot to run off and leak into the riparian area.
Okay.
So those are basically my two main concerns. We do have, of course, others, but not really pertaining to zoning issues.
Got it. All right. Thanks for your comment. I will go to you next, Rosemary, please.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to say that we do personally, and I'm sure the community welcomes a quality supermarket from a small business family. I can't think of a better position for that building, and certainly much better than an empty building in our neighborhood, and it's not another dollar store. But regards to the gas station, that is an issue. Although we are a food desert, we are drowning in gas stations. I mean, we have 5 within a half mile from us. We have probably double that within a mile. I don't see the need for it. It will cause more congestion there. In fact, I don't even know how they can fit that all on the property, because most of the parking would be in the back. And when you go to a supermarket, you're not parking in the back. The front part of the building would be most gas station stuff. And also there is a driveway on both sides on Bel Air on the West 130th Street that is a very popular cut through. So in addition to those factors, I would not be in favor of changing those codes. They're put there for a reason, to protect the neighbors, to protect the community, and I think they should stand in this case.
All right, understood. I will next go to Austin Raymond. Do you want to give your comment?
Hi, I was speaking from the CDC, and Austin can follow up if there are any issues. Melissa Miller, Jefferson Puritas West Park Community Development Corporation. I'd like to start off today by saying we are not here about a supermarket. I don't think that there is anyone in this room that would be against a grocery store going in there. A grocery store just opened a few weeks ago at 4606 West 130th Street. That has fresh produce, that has fresh meat. They did not request a gas station go in to offset the cost of having a market. There's a Save-A-Lot right up at 143rd and Puritas. They did not request a gas station to go in to offset the cost of running that market. We are here today about the gas station. The gas station is in an area where within 2 miles there are 21 gas stations, 3 of which are closed. In a 1 mile radius, there's 4 gas stations and 2 additional gas stations that are closed. There is an ample amount of gas stations in the area. Gas stations cause several issues. They cause noise pollution. They cause air quality pollution. They cause potential groundwater runoff pollution right next to a creek. Those are all issues that the community is concerned about. Austin Raymond from my office has been to the meetings. He then subsequently reached out in December to the applicants for an issue that there was at the property with the lighting that they installed. He has yet to hear back from the applicants regarding that issue from December. We had a community meeting. We have been circulating a petition. Last week, I sent over 244 signatures to Ms. Kukla, which I believe were received and shown to the board. If needed, I have the originals of that petition here if the board would want that. Okay. Those are the issues we are having. A grocery store is allowed there. No one is arguing the use there. No one is arguing that it would be a great amenity for the neighborhood. All the issues follow with the gas station. With our signatures, we got signatures from all around the area. We got signatures from both the Ward 16 side and the Ward 11 side, which in January, when merged, will be Councilman Casey's ward and will be the ward that the Jefferson Puritas West Park CDC serves. Both of those sides were fired for the meeting. We have also got residents from both sides at that meeting. If you need the petitions, I'm more than happy to give them to you again. Otherwise, thank you for your time and your consideration in this matter.
Okay, so just to be clear, the people who signed the petition were all against?
Yes, they were all against the gas station use.
Okay, understood. All right, do you want to add to that, Mr. Raymond? Okay, you're good? All right, thank you for your comments. We'll now come to you, Chad. You want to give comment?
Yes, Madam Chair, I will. Chad Dasher, Westtown Community Development. As Ms. Sedlick was talking, I was crossing out some of my points because she covered them very well. I'd like to speak for the Westtown CDC, we're in 100% support of this, of a grocery store. They're wonderful things to have. And as we're listening and talking about offsetting the costs of grocery stores, I'm just going through grocery stores in my head, small grocery stores, whether they're in affluent neighborhoods or lower income neighborhoods. I'd be safe to say that the majority of them do not have gas stations attached to them. I don't think that's needed. Another big concern I have too is its location to the Chevy branch of the Big Creek. If there's an issue on a gas station that's not near a creek, you're kind of contained in one area there. If that stuff gets into the creek, that spreads it out through neighborhoods and throughout the west side of Cleveland. And the concentration of the pumps too is an issue for us. I understand they will be having diesel there. I just really don't see on the site plan how you can really accommodate semi trucks coming in and out of there. I don't see it. It doesn't look. It would cause a big traffic problem there with just two curb cuts. But like I said, I don't want to go over everything Melissa just did, but I will back up everything she said and rest on that.
All right, thank you so much. Mr. DiGeronimo, I'll circle back to you and give you an opportunity to speak. Do you want to get on? Wait, is he still on? I don't even see him. You say what?
I saw him leave the call and get the ring.
Oh, yeah, I'm like, I don't even see him anymore. Okay. Well, we'll go now to Mr. Lowe. Do you want to give comment?
Good morning, members of the board. Nate Law with Cleveland City Planning. I share similar comments. Our perspective is a grocery store would be a great use for the site. We have no issue with serving, serving fresh food and vegetables in the neighborhood. There are none, to our knowledge, there are no grocery stores in this neighborhood that have gas stations attached to them, so this would be a first. We do oppose the variances for the gas station, specifically the use and the riparian setback variance. For a couple of reasons, mainly environmental. The property proposes to install gas pumps near a riparian setback, and although it's not within the setback itself, it is close enough, which puts the stream at risk of contamination. The EPA recommends that pumps within 500 feet of, to not locate pumps within 500 feet of residential properties due to gas stations having higher levels of harmful compounds. This property is adjacent to residential and within 500 feet of several residential parcels across the street. Additionally, the EPA recommends a minimum of 1,000 feet from all schools. Again, for environmental reasons, this property is located just outside of the 1,000-foot buffer that the EPA recommends, so it's very close. Additionally, in terms of the potential for autocentric uses to put more strain on our critical road infrastructure and public safety services, city services in general, West 130th Street was identified in our Vision Zero plan, which is a plan to essentially eliminate fatalities as a part of high crash areas. To eliminate fatalities from vehicles, from pedestrians, bicycles. West 130th Street was mentioned in that study as a high crash segment of the city from Worthington Avenue to the north to Gilmore Avenue to the south. So this parcel we're speaking about encompasses that high crash segment. So for those reasons, we think it would put potentially a strain on our road system and our ability to carry out city services, as well as for the environmental reasons we spoke about. So again, we're supportive of a grocery store being there, but oppose the gas station.
Okay, understood. Thank you for that. Now, it's unusual to have two councilmen present here. Is there a preference in terms of who gives comment first?
I'll shoot.
All right, go right ahead.
Sure. As everybody said, the grocery store is not a problem. Everybody would love a grocery store there. That's part of it. The situation with the gas station is what everybody's concerned about. A lot of that is with the creek, the riparian and whatnot. As far as Councilman Casey is concerned, I've known Brian long before he was a councilman. He's a great family man, a great activist, and he does treat his community that way, just as a family. And whether I'm the council person or Brian's the council person, it's up to our community that we have to listen to. And the biggest problem has been the rear Prairie and the traffic pattern and whatnot. There's also where they did cut a slot in, like Brother Woods said, and let the runoff. There's some things there that have to be addressed, and it's incumbent upon the developer and our community that, you know, they would be good stewards of that. Me, Brian, every council, we want things built in our ward. We want things in our ward that are good. We want a tax base, you know, but lately we just have a problem where developers or something without getting variances, you know, and possibly, and they need to say, okay, well, can we look and see if we can get it or something like that? Because I understand I don't want a business person to come to my ward and lose money. I'm inviting them to come to my ward and partake in my ward and sue the community in my ward. But this is in my ward become a difficulty right here. And it is my word now, but 4 months from now, 5 months from now, it will be Brian's word. That community will be the same. So I let Chad and Westtown, you know, do a lot of the heavy lifting after the redistricting was set, and just to see what the community is. I will have to go with the community. Myself personally, I probably Brian, we want development here. I don't know if they have convinced everybody. I don't know if Donnie DiGiorano gave the I know we've talked to the conservation. I know Army Air Corps of Engineers I've talked to. They actually will come in a little after that. They have a little bit of a say as well. The traffic pattern, I don't know if that has been set out to convince the community. But if all these things were set out and convincing, I think the community wouldn't be against it. Listening here right now, and I knowing it's not going to be my word and helping up to this point, that, you know, I have to listen to what the community says. I think they're good business owners. I know he doesn't want to sell alcohol and tobacco. That's a plus. It is a dry area, though, you know, as far as alcohol is concerned. They had flooding problems there. I sat with 2-3 days out there. You know, I've been responsive and respectful as I can with here, but still, whether it's me or Brian, anybody has to go with the community has to be convinced. So whatever the two CDCs decide what their community wants, I imagine me and Brian will stand with it. Thank you.
All right, Councilman Casey, you want to give a?
Yes, can I be heard?
Please go right ahead.
First of all, I'd like to thank the board and everybody who's in attendance for the time and attention that they've put into this matter. This has not been an easy situation that we've been dealing with. First, I'd like to deal with Mr. Tate and his comments regarding me. In no way, shape, or form does he speak for me, nor his despise for me has not allowed him to see the forest from the trees, nor has it allowed him to hear from the community. We have heard from the community loud and clear. We are so appreciative of the developers coming in and wanting to put a grocery store in which at the November meeting, Mr. Hussein said he would do, even without putting a gas station there. And the community, myself, are no way, shape, or form supportive of a gas station going in at that location. For reasons that Ms. Miller Sedlock had mentioned, with all the gas stations around that neighborhood, we do not, even though we may have a food desert, we do not have a gas station desert. It is not the fault of anybody in this room that the developers and the owners did not do their homework prior to purchasing the property. And if they would have wanted a gas station there, they should have known when they purchased the property that it was local retail, not general retail, which does not allow for a gas station. I am in support of the supermarket going in 100%. Whatever they would need, we'd be behind them 100% with the supermarket. But I'm a hard no on the gas station for everything that it brings, as close as it is to the creek, as many gas stations as we have in the neighborhood. It's just not wanted. I have yet to meet a resident, except for I've heard from one resident who is in support of the gas station. Aside from that, myself and the CDC have spent the last 2 weeks knocking on doors, holding a community meeting, getting petitions, listening to people at the doors. Not one person at the doors even said that the gas station is a good idea. Councilman Kelly is correct. We're there to represent the neighborhood. and the neighborhood as a whole is 99% against a gas station. They are also 100% for the supermarket. So I look forward to working with the developers and converting that Walgreens into a supermarket, which is what the community wants without the gas station. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilman. Madam Secretary, do we have any correspondence that we need to put on the record?
I think I just have the letter from Bob on, any other petitions that were submitted via email. Thank you.
All right, perfect. I will give you an opportunity to respond briefly to all of the concerns that have been raised before we go to a vote.
Yes. So in regards to the riparian in the setback, we have addressed that with your professional counsel, the Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District, Brent and Jared. His whole team have looked over what we've presented and built that mitigation plan with us. It is suitable for that location. They see no issues with it. And the environmental design group as well saw no issues with it and has prepared the riparian setback report for us. As far as the gas station.
Is that what you submitted via
Yes.
email earlier? Okay, got it. Go right ahead.
And regardless of the mention of 21 gas stations, all the way down to 6 gas stations in that area, those are all unbranded gas stations for the most part. And unbranded gas stations, they can will and deal with any gas broker that exists. This family is tied to a branded gas that offers quality in different octane levels. Every gas station that they mentioned only offers unleaded. Unleaded cannot go into some vehicles. It can, but you could damage those engines. So when you're talking about a community and developing a community, you need revenue. A lot of the revenue that is passed in that area, I think they said 30,000. A lot of that revenue is going to Brook Park, Parma, North Olmsted, further north to fill up to get those high octanes. The higher octanes, even mid-grade, is not offered at some of these unbranded locations. It's 3 options and all of them are unleaded because they will and deal for the cheapest of the broker. They don't deal directly with an actual branded gas station tied to an oil company. When you do that, you have the notion of getting scammed. Some of the unbranded gas stations can use altered pumps, generic product, generic materials, all the way from the handles down to the tubing. You cannot do that when you're a branded gas station. That's why some of the brands that you see, like your Shells, your Marathons, some of their gas prices never go below a certain price because they can't will and deal. They can't ship around just any kind of thing because this broker got it going at this cost. So you don't see them dropping it like Sheetz or Costco, for instance. Those are also unbranded gas stations. Great brand names, but unbranded when it comes to the notion and education of fuel. So within the community, that resource, those revenues that are going elsewhere for those other cars, those trucks. We're not looking for semi trucks to come in and fill diesel. Half the trucks over there are diesel with landscaping guys. They can come fill up now and not have to go to Brea, Parma, or outside of that Bel Air and Puritas area. We can now capture that revenue on a tax base for both 11 and 16. And when you're talking about the other 2 supermarkets or grocery stores, the one that just opened is beautiful. It's about 2,000 square feet. This building is over 13,000 square feet. So you can put almost 6 of those inside this building. So cost would definitely be different, which is why they won't need a gas station. Save a lot. Save a lot. Your outlets, your bargain outlets, all of those guys share similar purchasers or wholesalers that they get their food from. And you have days to get that food consumed or it's bad. That's why economically you see those targets in food desert areas or right outside of them. This family is offering top quality, top meats, top produce, nothing that's going to jeopardize them just for the sake of $1. Safety has been brought up several times in all of our meetings. We're not looking to change the traffic flow. Those aprons are already part of a traffic study, the most recent traffic study in that area. We won't change that. Deliveries been coming to Walgreens on a constant basis. We're not adding more to that. What they're arguing is issues that some of them are hypotheticals. An accident, just because people are traveling right there, is it just there or everywhere? Everywhere there's accidents. But hypothetically speaking, we can't say when an accident gonna happen. Now, there might be more conscious people knowing that, hey, this is a gas station now, be careful, people pull in, pull out. Currently, as Ms. Wood said, it's a pass through. You see people flying through just to get 4 feet to the other side of the road. With this in mind, having this gas station / grocery store, it's offsetting several different things, combating several different things all at the same time. Not just bringing fuel. It's cost, 13,000 square foot building. We just can't do a 2,000 square foot and give you fresh produce. It's the entire piece that this family has sought and has wanted to work with the city and has wanted to work with the community. And for Councilman Casey to say 99% of the community is opposed, that's over 27,000 people between both wards. I would like to see those numbers. I would like to see those petitions. And I just urge the council themselves. The issue has been talked about, the riparian setback. We dealt with the professionals that you guys hired, and they saw, I sat in their office with them.
I feel like I want to clarify because I keep hearing you say that we
Jared
hired
is on
them
the,
and we
call
are
now.
under their counsel, which I don't even know who they are. So I don't know that we can make that connection to the board. But can you speak to the water runoff? I mean, there's been comments from the neighbors that says, you know, water comes from this property and onto their yard.
Yes.
What is the plan?
So we addressed that with Donnie DiGeronimo as part of the infrastructure. That can be redone as part of the setback. We're looking at a beautification part of that riparian setback. So only a quarter of it is left unimproved. The rest of it has already been addressed to code. But I sat with the owners of that property behind the gas station, and we heard their issues. And we worked with the environmental design group with those kind of concerns, right? These tanks, some of the tanks that we're proposing to put in the ground is triple the cost of a normal tank that you will see in a Sheetz or a Giant Eagle. It already has its parameters set up for safety measures, for leaks, for condensations and things of that nature. Not to mention, it's almost 300 feet from that. So we have looked at those options.
So you're touching on my next question a little bit, which is going to be, what are you going to do to prevent a negative impact on the creek, which you are very close to?
Yes, so part of that is gonna be the beautification part, right? We'll add some more greenery, some more shrubs. And then part of that, how they said in the back of that, that's not gonna be used for parking. We initially had vacuums and charging stations going up there. We got rid of that, right? Just for the sake of this. We'll also resurrect a 6-foot fence to go continuously along that whole side of the property. And that's Bob and Mary, that's their property. And then the city owns 2 of the lots adjacent to theirs that butts up against ours. So we will then put a 6-foot fence up.
Okay, and in your mind, what does the 6-foot fence solve? What problem does that address?
Pollution, light pollution, bit of noise pollution, and just gives them their privacy.
Go ahead.
That's it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to clarify, this is Nate Lowell. I want to clarify just a comment that was made about consulting with the Cuyahoga Soil and Water District. That's something that we as staff of city planning have consulted with them because they have more of a technical understanding of working within the riparian setback. That section of the code is relatively new and it doesn't come up often at the Board of Zoning Appeals. So we've been consulting with them on how they could address and mitigate the need, to disturb the setback. And I do believe that, if there are two members from that organization on, if they would like to provide any comment, I know they didn't swear in, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think we swore them in, but are they here?
See him.
Jared is one of them, Jared Bartley.
Chief Leonard, I can see that your hand is raised. Go right ahead. Oh,
And
wait,
then-
did you put it in?
Madam Chair, Shannon Leonard. So Cuyahoga County Water and Soil Division, as Nate stated, had worked with city planning staff discussing this, but it's also any type of gas station or anything that's on a development site. So the variances that you see that are being requested here, while the pumps won't be directly into the riparian setback itself, it's on the same development site. And so they do need all the variances that you see listed on their adjudication. So as it pertains to the zoning, they need a use variance because gas stations aren't permitted within a local retail district. Or they need to meet the items that are listed in the second variance request. We haven't seen an updated site plan. The procedures of 351 are in addition to, if you were to grant the setback or grant the variances for this site, they would need to meet all of those things, including the mitigation plan, as well as delineating exactly where that setback and where the water flow is coming through as labeled in 351. But I would also like to point to the fact that any type of soil disturbing or land clearing activities such as erecting fuel pumps, asphalt or concrete paving, and the establishment of motor vehicle is not a permitted use on a development site within the riparian setback, and then a non-conforming use. So for instance, the edge of this building is within that setback. It's a non-conforming use, but expanding to add fuel pumps, which would require excavation to put those fuel pumps in the ground, would be an expansion of that non-conforming use, needing the variance from you all. So I just wanted to clarify the variance request here. It's not for the grocery store, it's for the gas station, the addition of the 6 fuel pumps that will require digging and excavation to store underground fuel tanks. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that, Chief. I'm looking for someone who is from the Water and Soil Division. Do we have someone with us from Water and Soil
Yes.
Division?
Yes, this is Jared Bartley.
Oh, perfect. Okay, do you want to first be sworn in and then give some comment?
Sure.
Thank you, Jared. Please just raise your hand, repeat after me. Do you swear and solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and the whole truth? Please reply with "I do." State your name, spell your name, and provide an address for the record.
I do. Jared Bartley. Jared Bartley. 3311 Perkins Avenue, Cleveland.
Thank you.
So yeah, so we were approached, as was mentioned by the city, just to provide some guidance in this case relating to the setback. And through the process of this, we have provided Mr. Tate with a few, as he's asked questions about it, we provided him with answers about that. We haven't seen the current or most recent any plans for the setback, but he did ask about if we would be supportive generally of the removing of the parking spaces at the rear within the setback and renaturalizing that area as a form of mitigation, to which we said, in our opinion, yes, that would be a good solution for the mitigation. We usually prefer the on-site mitigation as does the code. And just reiterating that the need for the setback variance is dependent on the use change. That's what triggers the need for that.
Okay, thank you for that. I'll open it up to the board to ask questions either of the appellant or of the Water and Soil Division. Any questions from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair. I have a question for, I think, Mr. Tate. On the drawing that we're seeing on the screen, I believe that it does show parking in the riparian setback area, whereas you testified there would be no parking in the setback area. Can you please explain that?
Yes, that's originally where we would have put the vacuum station in that back area. But after meeting with the environmental design group and Jared and his team, we thought in regards to making that beautification project part of the mitigation plan, we could eliminate, I think it's 6 to 8 of those that is actually touching. And we thought that that would be more than suitable.
All right.
Thank you. And then just because we have not had an opportunity to read your mitigation plan, can you just testify for the record what that mitigation plan states that you will do?
Yes, well, there's 4 pages of documentation of what we would do. Everything that's
Just
been asked.
high level, keep it high level, please.
I'm not an engineer, I'm a developer, right? As far as that, we have created that report to address every setback issue and have it addressed properly. I
So the
think,
report came from Water and Soil, right?
no, Environmental Design Group, that's who they recommended us hire.
Got it.
So we
Okay.
hired them for 5,500. And then to get what's normally in addition to or in continuance of is another 45,000 that's got to be paid, right? Which we're willing to pay, right? But in a normal variance, you don't pay that until you get that. So it's always in addition to and continuance of, then we would normally pay that.
Okay, what
Right.
are the recommendations in that report?
Is the beautification plan that Jared mentioned of, for us to address those back parking spaces and work to improve the less than a quarter of an acre that is unimproved. We will work on beautifying that area.
Okay. All right, Ms. Roca, does that answer your question?
Sort of. I mean, the variance you need, you're right next to the Big Creek watershed. You have fuel tanks that you're putting into the ground. There is a code section in place to protect that watershed. What I think the board needs to know, since we have not had an opportunity to review your report or the Environmental Design Group's report, is how are you going to prevent runoff from going into the watershed?
There's a couple different pieces here. In one clause, we will be restoring or replacing or enhancing degraded the corridor areas in that subland part. We will then compensate for the impact by replacing or enhancing or providing substitute resources for that environment, such as part of that beautification plan. The mitigation actions will then be conducted within the same sub-drainage basin. So we'll take into consideration all of that you heard about, that flood, the flood runoff, that's already been addressed in that. An additional measure will be eliminating some of that parking along the riparian, only keeping it for safety vehicles and deliveries. Other than that, a buffer mitigation, that's going to be pending authorization, and it will then get another measure taken to it, and 0.5 of that acre will be beautified and improvised. That totals another 21,000 that, per the authorization of this, we're willing to conduct. After that, to show the measures are even further, then we have a 3-year buffer monitoring program with this same environmental specialist that will come out on schedule and make sure no leaks, no runoffs, no damage, or additional retro actions are caused to this. And that will be stated in task 3, 4, and also 2 of the report that you guys have received as of today.
Okay, and just looking at the report, just, high level comments. This report has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 professional contributors. And the report affirms that the developers and the construction management team have acknowledged their environmental responsibility in working with the riparian setback, and that they've retained and engaged qualified experts to ensure full compliance and ecosystem enhancement. And so there is a request in this report that the board approve for the zoning and variance changes related to the property in recognition of demonstrated compliance. So just to give some high-level comment into the record regarding this report, there are also 4 important recommendations for the mitigation plan that are also listed in the report as well. So based on that, do we have any additional questions from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair. I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
I was just going to follow. Thank you for that, Madam Chair, and to the appellant as well for putting that on the record since we haven't had an opportunity to delve into that report. My additional question for the development team is, are there any other economically feasible uses of this property if you are not granted this variance today?
For the nature of what we're trying to do, no.
Okay, and in keeping with that question, what hardship would you face if you don't get the variance today?
Hardships, 3+ million. As of November, we were dropped from insurance because the ongoing vacancy of the building. The building was damaged beyond repair. It was attacked back in middle of November. All of the HVAC units were destroyed beyond repair, nothing stolen, just damaged. The wires were pulled out the walls, plumbing was pulled out the floors. My client sustained over $600,000 of damage that insurance dropped him. And my team has already replaced that out of their pocket. They fronted that cost for damages from that setting. So now we have a pending case against the insurance. So, you know, our goal is to try not to lose no more.
Understood. Any other questions from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair. Going back to the soil situation and the runoff, explain to us the depth that the tanks are going to have to be excavated and installed. How deep do the tanks go into the ground?
That would be my other partner to give you that exact. Me being on oath, I don't want to state a depth, and I'm not for sure to be exact. But that will be handled by Donnie DiGeronimo, who's 7 generations of infrastructure and build outs with gas stations and things of that nature. But it will be 300, almost 300 feet from the riparian setback. That depth I could send you. Maybe he was
Right.
dropped,
So
and I'm
we're-
assuming and got dropped.
Right. So maybe you can't answer this question either. You've owned this parcel for a number of years now. I believe you said 13.
No,
In
one.
that, how long?
1.
1 year. Okay. In that time, given all the other research that you've done, have you done boring samples of the soil and have you ascertained the water level in that area, given the fact that of its adjacency to the creek?
Yep, that was part of the one of the next pieces. If this is approved for us to dive deeper in, but those have been engaged, and this
But as yet not executed. So you do not know the level of the water table at this time. Is that
I
correct?
do not. I do not, to my knowledge.
And at this time, you can also not tell us the
Right.
level at which the fuel tanks need to be set at into the soil. So you
One sec.
don't know where the water table is, and you can't tell us how
No,
deep the fuel tanks have to go.
I stand corrected. We do have that last map that was produced by our environmental company with the water table, the flooding, and everything else. If we can go to that. No. It's got the colors that we presented last time before the postponement. Yes. So that right there accounts for the water tables, the flooding, and that map from an environmental engineer.
So how deep is the water table then?
I'm not for sure off the top of my head.
Right. Okay. Because I understand you've made a lot of statements about runoff and mitigation of anything going into the creek from surface water. You've not addressed anything with regard to the water table and any possibility of the fuel tanks leaking into the water table and any underground contamination going into the creek.
Yep, that will be part of task 3 and 4 in the report put together by the wetland professional.
And we don't have that today.
No, ma'am, that is pending authorization.
Right,
That's
okay.
another $34,000.
Okay.
To get
Typically,
the
when I'm
depth.
typically when I'm doing a project, one of the first things I do is have it professionally surveyed and then do core samples. And that hasn't happened in your case yet. Madam Chair, I have another question, and this is probably to Mr. Lull or to Mr. Bay. Mr. Lull testified that this area was part of the Vision Zero, which is to mitigate fatalities and injuries. This is, as I believed, been designated as a high crash area. And I'm wondering if that still holds, if that's still a current situation, and have there been any traffic studies?
I can answer that. This is Nate Lowell. You're correct. It was designated a high crash segment as part of our Vision Zero plan, which was adopted by City Planning Commission. As far as further studies to West 130th Street, I don't believe we have any further study since it was originally adopted as a high crash segment. We do keep active counts in terms of which are updated yearly, provided by the Ohio Department of Transportation, which give us the number of fatalities, serious crashes, pedestrian injuries, bicycle injuries. That's all publicly accessible data. And again, this was designated a high crash segment along West 130th Street, but there's no further study that's been done of the corridor right now.
Mr. Lull, can you tell us if the corridor is designated as a high crash area, is there a corresponding number of fatalities or injuries that need to occur or do occur to designate it as a high crash area?
Typically, the way that they identify high crash segments is actually a combination of all the stats that I just mentioned about fatalities and serious crashes, as well as we observe social equality and equity measures to help inform the data. So this intersection of Bel Air and West 130th Street did not appear at the top of that list, but again, it was prevalent enough that the number of serious crashes was prevalent enough to score high on our crash segment indicator.
Great, thank you. And just, I think one further, and this could go to Ms. Sedlak or Mr. Dasher, being members of this borders a major bus route and also is access to a Cleveland housing facility that I believe has a high population of seniors and a number of people that use motorized carts for transportation up and down these thoroughfares. Can you speak to us a little bit about the level of pedestrian traffic in the area and the accessibility of the residents in the area to other supermarkets? And that's to either member of the CDC.
Yes, Dasher from Westtown Community Development. You are right. Between the gardens and the towers and a lot of the people who live on the side streets there is I can't give you an exact percentage of how many, but there is a significant amount of pedestrian traffic in this area. People without their own vehicle, a lot of people that dependent on public transportation. That's always been very characteristic of the community that's at least over on the east side of 130th in location to this place. What was the second part of your question?
Just the level of traffic of the pedestrian traffic, the use of public transportation, the bus route being along there and the number of seniors, particularly using motorized carts for transportation in
Yes,
that corridor.
it's a lot of seniors, a lot of pedestrians. I can't speak for is on the other side of 130th. I am not as familiar with the demographics of that area, but the demographics on the east side of 130th is significantly higher. And they do have a lot of people that rely on public transportation and foot traffic to get from places.
Great, thank you. And just one other final thought that came to mind. This is reminding me very much of a case that we had on the east side, and there was significant community engagement. And perhaps Councilman Casey wants to speak to this, but in that case, I don't think anyone is questioning the desire or the support for, as many have said, the grocery store. But as I recall in that other case, everyone was very interested in having access to food as their primary reason for the store opening. But the need for car fuel was not necessarily a priority. So could Councilman Casey just reiterate those community engagement results that he had? Or
Yeah.
Councilman Kelly, if you have any?
Councilman Kelly, would you like to go first?
Go ahead, Councilman Casey.
Yeah, again, we canvassed the neighborhood, explaining the situation of the development of the supermarket and the proposed gas station. We got well over 200 signatures opposing the gas station. And I can tell you that the majority of those who signed against the gas station were in favor of the supermarket. We held a community meeting with residents of both Ward 11 and Ward 16. And again, in favor of a supermarket, overly opposed to the gas station. You have city planning, you have 2 CDCs, and you have 2 council members and a community all in agreement, and the developers in agreement that that a supermarket is needed. It would be well accepted and it would be successful. But you also have 2 CDCs, 2 councilmen, city planning, and the community who are all saying no to the gas station as well, because that's not what's needed in the neighborhood. It doesn't bring a value to the community. It may bring a value to a developer, but not to a community. And I believe that we have been well engaged with the community and can overly speak for the residents of both Ward 11 and Ward 16 when they say we are opposed to the gas station. We are opposed to the variance.
All right, thank you for that, Councilman Casey. Did you want to add to that?
Well, what Chad was at the last meeting they had, and with this going to be in Councilman Casey's board, we've been letting them go from here. I have not had the gas station, obviously, like everybody said, that I've had grocery store. A lot of the concerns that we're waiting to hear about today was the referendum. When I talk to my residents, there's a lot of it right now is we're going to do this step after this step after this step because it costs money, and I understand that. Residents aren't worried about that. They want to know right from the get-go that there's nothing to be done with that water. It's been a big concern. And originally there was going to be a car wash there too, so that kind of brought that up. That's gone. Some of the traffic patterns, and I just don't know if. The call in the office is really nobody for. They just don't feel that they've gotten everything they need to be sure that the gas station will not affect that creek, that they're not be part of the runoffs. It's not their fault if somebody cut a V into the berm over there and water's running over there in Brother Woods' area there. They want to know specific traffic things. It's just one of a lot of things that generally are there. We've been going through this a long time. My main concern with the developers has been that reaffirm, or how we pronounce it. But I have to be honest. I want to develop my ward and whatnot, but my community is unsure of that gas station there. And I don't think if anybody was watching today, they might think they have all the answers. I feel that it's difficult when you have somebody come in your neighborhood and they have to spend this money and they have to wait this long to do it. When I bring that up to my residents, it's not a concern of theirs. You know, like, what I'm finding out is mine's been here much longer than me is, they have to do a better job when someone wants to push something in your ward to do something in your ward, that if the variance isn't there, that they have some sort of little contingency or something like that, through zoning or through planning that, hey, we're looking to do this. We don't want to spend the money right. Do you think this is possible? Instead of buying it and then trying to make it possible, because it's a couple of problems now in my ward, and I'm just trying to deal with it to make sure that developers can stay and do something in the community, but the community has to be in agreement with them. And
All right, Chief, I can see that your hand is raised. Do you have additional comment? Okay, maybe that was an old hand.
Sorry, I was muted. Good morning, Madam Chair. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that this parcel is zoned local retail business. So, you know, I know there's community concerns, there's the riparian concerns, but the local retail here explicitly prohibits gas stations. Those are first permitted in general retail. And that's really because of the proximity to the residential. So if Xavier could pull up the zoning map here, you can see to all sides of this property, it's residential, as well as that setback of the riparian where the Tinkers Creek is going through. In addition to the fact that local retail is really for neighborhood retail. So a grocery store is perfectly a possible use here, an economic use, an economic of value use. The gas station, adding the fuel pumps and the development, the disturbing of the ground here is what's ticking up the variances in this case. The other thing to think about here is why we talked about the traffic pattern. If you go back to the aerial, you'll notice that these driveways that are located directly across from Harold here on West 130th and then along Bel Air, almost right there at that intersection, but close to First B across the street. And so when you're talking about adding diesel trucks and fuel trucks that have to get in and make these tight turnarounds and park and back up and add the fill the tanks, you know, that really hasn't been addressed in this conversation either. While we've talked about the traffic along Bel Air and West 130th, it's really a tight turnaround there to get these diesel trucks and fuel trucks in here. And so that's really, you know, it's zone local retail for a reason. And so that is a use variance they need beyond the riparian setback requirements.
Okay, noted. Thank you so much for that. Madam Secretary?
Madam Chair, just for clarification, I feel like I heard conflicting information regarding the parking spaces behind the building. I thought I heard that part of the plan was to remove the pavement and renaturalize the area behind the building. Then Mr. Tate mentioned that the parking spaces would be eliminated and the area would be used just for deliveries. Could the appellant confirm what is the plan? Is it to keep the pavement there? And while I have the floor, there was one more thing that I dug a little bit more. I was able to see that there was a violation notice issued regarding that runoff issue in 2022. It is closed. I wasn't able to see what the if there was a remedy, but the issue was stated as parking lot not draining quickly and causing erosion problems with neighbors' property. WPC checked sewers and they are draining properly. The problem is with the storm sewers in the parking lot. And thought that was important to note that I dug a little more. I did see a violation notice and that was in 2022. And it's stated as closed. So maybe if you wanted to ask Ms. Leonard, I think that means that it may have been corrected. I'm just not, I couldn't find the details on that.
Okay, let's take them one at a time. We'll have you respond to her original questions.
Yep, that's part two. It's two-part. Not all of it is for parking. So there will still be enough roadway to get emergency vehicle or trucking through there for delivery purposes. That's where the trucking doors are in the back of that building, but the parking can still be eliminated. The parking spaces themselves.
Okay, does that answer your question?
He's saying can still be eliminated. He's saying that they would be,
Yeah.
they would remove remove those parking spaces, remove the concrete. If the board so chooses to put that condition on the.
Okay. There was another comment about diesel trucks entering the
That's been
property.
taken into consideration. You have 71 and then 77, which is one of the main corridors for the fuel trucking that comes out of Brecksville. You get semis that come through there right now already, same size. We don't foresee any issues with that. Even when our architect Scott with Hart Design started designing it, we took all of that into consideration with the parking still in the same area. It's a lot of space.
Okay.
Don't look like it from
It
one of
doesn't.
the aerial pictures, but that's a lot of space.
Okay. All right. Other questions from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair, just 3 questions. Can you talk about just waste removal, et cetera, the bins that you guys have and how you plan to, I guess, create a space for that?
Well, it's a current one. They're now the same one that Walgreens used is still inactive. It's still active right now.
Thank you. And based on the variants that are requested, can you speak to, I think number 2, bullet point 2 and 3, no motor vehicle repair activity occurs within 10 feet, and then no service bay or garage doors is oriented toward a resident district. How does that fall into your plan or scope?
There's no service station, no automo repair or anything of that nature. And to counter that is where we was gonna put the 6-foot fence along the residential, which then brings that up to current code.
So thank you. Through you, Madam Chair, to Mrs. Leonard, are those needed in this case? I know they're listed, but it's not showing up anywhere. Are they required?
So the section 343.14A means that no motor vehicle service gas station, motor vehicle service garage, or car wash shall be located on a parcel that is within 100 feet of a resident district unless the following conditions are met. And so when we adjudicated this site plan, there was no board-on-board fence proposed along the property line, along the residential district. In addition to it, I think the original, but the no motor vehicle repair activity and the no service bay or garage doors oriented towards a residence district is on here just because it's part of the section. And so it's added as that. But until he submits an updated site plan to zoning, we wouldn't know if that has been met.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Hold on a second. Okay. Does that conclude your question?
Yes.
Okay. Did you want to?
Yeah, they have the one with the fence added,
Okay.
with the 6-foot.
Okay. So you submitted an
Yeah.
updated site plan.
That was the
includes
last
it.
one we met with the site plan and then the map with the coloring,
Okay.
which was broken down by the environmental design group for the water flow, the flooding and all that.
Perfect. All right. Last call for questions from the board. All right. I'm not hearing anything. I'm going to turn to you now, Mr. Austin. Go right ahead.
Austin Raymond, Jefferson Pierce, West Park CDC. Just to clarify, Julius did say that there wasn't any branded.
You gotta talk a little bit louder.
Sorry, there wasn't any branded gas stations in the area. There is Sunoco at West 150th and Puritas. There's Speedway at 71 and West 150th. There's BP north of 71 and West 150th. There's Circle K at West 140th and Triscuit. There's also Circle K at West 140th and West 140th and Lakewood Heights Boulevard. There's also Valero that's at 140th and Puritas. There's also Sheets at Tiedemann. There's also a Sunoco at West 130th and Bel Air. So the fact that there isn't any branded gas stations in this area is false. So
I'm just looking for your list because you just rattled those off the top of your head. That's pretty impressive.
I studied the map.
True community development professional. Thank you for that. Okay.
In regards
wanna
to
reply?
that, Brandon, I didn't mean by name. I meant by affiliation with oil company. Sheets is not an oil company or affiliated with an oil company. They use brokerage. Half the list he raffled off use brokerage for services. They are brand names. That's why I said Costco, for instance, is a brand name, household name. They're not a branded fuel company when it comes to the fuel knowledge, right? They're not tied to an oil company that has their own measures in-house. Those unbranded names, such as a Sheets and half the ones he listed, They can shop around gas, the lowest price, which is why you see $2.99 and then $2.06 at some of those that he mentioned, but not the others. Sheets being one of them, they'll drop their gas real fast, but they might got that good brokerage or that good deal where you see one of the speedways, marathons, things of those natures, they're up there, right? They might be losing clients, but they're getting people that's educated when it comes to the fuel portion on the octane levels and the cleanness of it.
Okay, understood. All right, so do you have one final comment?
Yeah, real quick, I'm pretty sure Shell, Sunoco, BP, and Speedway use their own
Yeah, I don't
gas.
want to argue about whether the gas stations are branded or not. I think you guys can hash that out at a later date and time. We're here specifically to talk about the zoning. I can see that your hand is raised. Briefly give your comment.
What I wanted to share when they continue to talk about the water, I've lived in that neighborhood for 20 years. And what we managed to do just from being the residents, we fought very hard with the city because we always had a water problem. The city came in the last year and all the way down to 71, all the way to Purtis. And where the service station is, they redid very large, and even on my street, I live on Firdsby, they did larger water pipes so that water in that area could flow more and what runoffs could handle itself a lot greater. So I think we're not going to have any water flooding or overflow or water that's not being distributed properly, because that was a problem at one time. But since they went in and did the construction, they tore up all the streets, put in big pipes, closed the streets off from my street all the way down to Wanda.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. All right. This is the last comment, and I'll have you be very, very brief, please.
Rosemary Wood. I just wanted to comment against with the public transportation and pedestrians that there is a school within a block of this area where we have student pedestrians and school buses during the school year.
Okay.
Excuse me, Madam Chair. If I may, just want to implore that we, city planning stands strongly in opposition of this, mainly because of the use district, proximity to residents, and the riparian setback. These, the purpose and intent of the zoning code is really to protect the welfare, public, and safety of this kind of nature.
All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Bay. All right. I will entertain a motion from the board, please.
Madam Chair, hearing testimony we've heard today, we've had opposition from both council people. We've had opposition from city planning. We've had opposition from the CDCs, and in particular, the residential neighbors that immediately abut this property. I have concerns personally for the lack of boring samples. Water takes the path of least resistance. This is an active creek, and there's nothing to be said that the creek might mitigate into their water table and cause some deterioration or contamination of the tanks, since we have no evidence stated as to how deep the tanks need to go or what the water table level is. We have statements today that this has been designated a high crash zone, and we have statements that this is a high pedestrian traffic area within a high crash zone. With all that being said, I think I've covered everything, but I may have missed a couple of topics. But with all that said, I move denial of calendar number 25-082.
All right. Thank you for that, Ms. Faith. Do we have a second?
Board Member Roca, I second.
All right. Can we call the vote?
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Calendar number 25-082 is denied. This will be ratified next Monday, and we will send the appellant a letter.
All right, that concludes our cases for today. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you,
You are
guys.
now free to go. We're gonna move to old business. I do have 5 calendar items in front of me, and I will ask that you all do exit quietly because we still have business that we have to carry. So I'm looking at numbers 1 through 5 on our ratification list. Is there any objection to any of these
No
being
objection.
ratified?
No
No
objection.
objection.
No objection.
All right, thanks, board. Those will be affirmed. I'm gonna ask you all to take your conversations in the hallway, please. It's okay. Mr. Wood, Councilman. Hey, Mr. Wood, Councilman, we're trying to conduct business. Mr. Wood, you guys, can you please exit to the hallway? We're still handling business here. Thank you. All right, I'm now looking at calendar number 24-223. This is an affirmation. Any objection to extending this for another 6 months?
No
I'm sorry,
objection.
have
No
we had
objection.
previous extensions?
Madam Secretary, any previous extensions on this one?
No, this is their first.
Okay, no objection then.
All right, so that is affirmed without objection. And it is 12:43 and we will adjourn. Have a great day, everyone.
I have before we sign off, Ms. Kukla, I am going to be absent on the 25th.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ms. Roca.
Bye,
Take
everybody.
care, everyone.
All right,
Thanks,
have a good